Father says his son is the victim of a political agenda.
Want an easy way to see if you could save money on car insurance? Geico gives you 3. Call 1-800-947-AUTO. Go online to geico.com or stop by the Geico office nearest you. 3 ways you could save 15% or more.
In the heart of Beer City, USA, 2 men, 1 journey to create a sports show unlike any other. Unfiltered, raw, and honest. One of them played a soccer goalie opposite Ben Stiller. The other once scored 6 points on Steph Curry. These guys know their shit.
Let's go!
Tank Spencer, Jeremy Greene, The Sportsocracy. Presented by Ingles Supermarkets. Low prices, love the savings. And Wicked Weed Brewing. Drink different.
It's ESPN Asheville 92.9 FM, 880 AM at 1400. The Sportsocracy heard everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. I'm Tank Spencer. Jeremy Greene is alongside, and it is a Thursday afternoon here in the Sportsocracy in the Ingles studio. First hour of the Sportsocracy, always brought to you by Ingles. Low prices, love the savings. It's NFL everything. We do have basketball to talk about, though, today.
Yeah. Kyrie Irving reappeared just enough to not cover against the Indiana Pacers.
That's right. Kyrie Irving is back. And, did you have that last night? Good for you.
By half a point. I got 5 on it, went quite nicely.
He didn't
green
do it,
on green, not so much.
He didn't do a whole lot in the first half. Second half went much better for Kyrie in his return to the Brooklyn Nets. We'll talk about that. Zion Williamson, he's back in the news because he has not showed back up with the New Orleans Pelicans. So my question has been now, what? I mean, are we done with this thing? Is he? Can we put him in the beginning of the bust category for NBA players?
And I think that's the most ludicrous thing I think I've ever heard in my life.
Of course, Aaron Rodgers got into a back and forth with a Chicago broadcaster in the news. We'll talk playoff scenarios for the NFL. We got a whole lot coming your way over the next 2 hours here on ESPN Asheville, so stick in with us. And, of course, you can not only listen to us now, but you can see us live on the YouTube stream. Just go to thesportsocracy.com, click on that live video link. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you can get in on the chat. You can join the House of Reprehensibles as well. Just be your membership group. They're on YouTube.com. And the big news of the day revolves around my team. Antonio Brown has been cut by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And this, if you thought him storming off the field was the weirdest part of this, I think you're still right. But it has only gotten more and more complicated since that happened. Antonio Brown now trying to throw shade at everybody. And is anybody shocked? Is anybody shocked that Antonio Brown wants to take no responsibility for his outburst on the sideline this past week and trying to target blame at everybody but himself?
Who's surprised? Anybody? Show of hands?
No.
Here's the thing that I love the most. You were so hurt. Oh, I'm so hurt. I can't go back to the game. I can't even hardly walk. And then you're doing jumping jacks in the end zone.
Right.
Look, you can tell me whatever you want to, and maybe you are hurt. I have no idea. Mm-hmm. Maybe the adrenaline of quitting on your team in the middle of a game was enough to magically repair the ankle. But you've lost all benefit of the doubt.
Of course he has.
When you do things like present a fake vaccination card, you kind of lose the benefit of the doubt. Mm-hmm. When you, freeze your toes off with some weird, otherworldly rehab treatment.
Right.
Any one of these things that he's done in a vacuum would not be enough to end your career.
Right.
Then you add them all together, and you are where you are.
Mm-hmm. He has officially been released, though, by Tampa Bay, which means there could be another team that wants to sign him. And I contend there's not going to be another one.
And I think it's comical.
I do too. I heard Dan Patrick talking about this yesterday of, the Kansas City Chiefs. What's going to stop them from doing this? What's going to stop the Green Bay Packers from doing it? Like, why would you do that? Why at this point would you put your team in that position? When is the next time that he's just going to walk off the field? You don't know that. You told me yesterday that there were rumblings.
That has nothing to do with it. This is just another layer in this. Mm-hmm. He's been a free agent 2 times. Mm-hmm. And do you know how many times that phone rang when it wasn't coming from a Tampa Bay area code? 0.00.
Right.
We've done this. And now you've added another layer onto it of you just being a complete just train wreck. Mm-hmm. Why would anybody call you?
The Antonio Brown apologists, of course, are all on his side saying that, he told him about the ankle and all that. At this point, it's a he said, she said. I told the coach that my ankle was injured and I couldn't go back in the game. Bruce Arians swears that the ankle never came up. He never once said, my ankle hurts, I can't go back in the game.
Well, I mean, here's my question about Bruce Arians, also known as full grown-up adult Tank Spencer. Why are you going smoking Jay Cutler wearing sunglasses at a press conference?
It was sunny outside.
No, it wasn't, because everything behind him is dark. And yet here's Bruce Arians just showing up like he should have a Marlboro hanging out of his mouth talking about Antonio Brown.
Right.
Your coach is a kooky individual.
Yes, he is.
And that's probably the nicest way I could say that.
But he's also cut from that old school cloth. And I was having this conversation with with the local news guy, Mark Starling, this morning. He was like, what with this Antonio Brown thing? I was like, look, the coach is a coach who's not going to allow this to happen. He's not just going to let this go. Antonio Brown walked out, stormed out in the middle of a game, caused a disruption on the field. There was zero chance, in my opinion, that he was ever coming back. And yesterday you tried to tell me there were rumblings that he was trying to patch things up within the organization and wanted to come back, and that they were close to bringing him back. You don't come back from that.
No, there's a possibility you do.
Well, I mean, if you
depends on, you know what you can't do? You can't double down and start posting text messages on Instagram the next day.
Right.
Because he posted 2 text threads, right?
Yes.
Because there was one with Bruce Arians, and then there was one with Alex Guerrero.
Right.
Which is Tom Brady's
trainer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you see what was at the bottom of that?
His bank account?
He posted his bank account information and didn't bleep it out.
Yeah. He did that. They went back and, it's since been gone back and edited and all of that bank information. Oh, of course it is. I've already seen it. Somebody has screen grabbed that and has spread that around. So
Which means Antonio Brown better be on the phone with his bank or he is going to be there are people out here that could use that information to do nefarious things.
Right. The whole Alex Guerrero thing kills me, too. Like, he texted at Tom or Instagrammed at Tom, like, how can you work with a person like this?
When he responded exactly how you should.
Right. Like, Antonio Brown sends to him and says, I'm not going to be working with you anymore. What about the $100,000 that I already paid you? And Alex Guerrero sends back, sorry to hear about it. Wish you the best in the future. Let me know where I need to send that money. Okay. So what are you complaining about, Antonio? Because he just gave you everything you wanted and you're still complaining. This is why he gets none of the benefit of the doubt in any of this scenario. And I think he's straight up lying. I think he got it in his head earlier in the week, because Adam Schefter reported this today, that last week, before the game happened, he went to Jason Licht, the GM for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and said, would you please guarantee the $2 million in incentives that I have left on my contract? And Jason Licht said, why would I? Of course not. Why would I do that? You need to hit these benchmarks. And then in the first half at halftime, they say he was in the locker room all ticked off and causing a scene because he didn't get enough targets in the first half. So then early in the third quarter, he is told to go back in the game, and he says, no, I don't want to go back in the game. Well, how are you going to meet your incentives if you're not going to go back in the game?
The incentive thing never made any sense. It never made a lick of sense. Mm-hmm. For one very categoric reason. If you're that worried about hitting your incentives, maybe, just maybe, you shouldn't have presented a fake vaccination card that cost you 3 games.
Right.
Oh, but the angle would have kept him out anyway. That's weird because he played the week before he went. Mm-hmm. So, no injury report, no nothing. Oh, okay. This is a team that plays fast and loose with the injury report. Anyway,
True.
So, maybe I'll just chalk that one up to
right.
a clerical error.
And so now he says he has gone to He has gone to a surgeon in New York City, and he's gotten it looked at, and there's a bone protruding, and you can even see the bone protruding through the skin, or not through the skin, but you can tell that something's amiss with the ankle from looking at it on the outside. And then he wants to complain because the Tampa Bay Buccaneers said you need to go see another doctor to get another opinion. And he's like, no, I already saw the guy. Okay, well, we want you to do another one. Oh, you can't force me to do that. Yeah, we can.
Here's my question. Why do we live in a society where people just immediately look at their employer and go, you can't tell me what to do? Well, you're not wrong about that. However, we can just stop paying you. Mm-hmm. We can just go, hey, you remember Bill? Bill doesn't work here anymore.
Yep.
What happened to Bill? Well, Bill wasn't a team player. Bill did not follow the same – he was not going in the same trajectory that the rest of the company was going in.
Right.
Man, I've had $1 for every time I've given that speech in my life. What happened to George? George is not here anymore.
See, well,
meet Bill. Bill is George's replacement.
And I keep coming back into my mind, like, where did this all go wrong? Where did it start to go off the rails? And I guess it was once he got his own place and moved out of Brady's.
No, where this went wrong. I'll tell you who is the unsung hero of this is Mike Tomlin. How did you put up with him for this long?
Well, the ego only built as he, won receiving awards and all of that throughout the years. The ego got more and more and more and more, and he thought he could get away with more and more. And then he leaves Pittsburgh, where Mike Tomlin rules with the iron fist, and he's just not able to contain it. No one else is able to contain it except for Mike Tomlin. So yeah, I guess I'll give you that. Mike Tomlin has to be a saint or something.
Mike Tomlin is. The Antonio Brown thing's just it gets to a comical point with me.
Oh yeah,
because everybody, but his mental health. What do you have any evidence of that whatsoever, or is that just immediately what we say now when people do weird things?
What?
Oh, his mental health. Has he ever said that one time?
It's not obvious to you that that's a mental health issue with him.
No.
Okay.
Because some people are just what is that word? Entitled. Maybe, just maybe. I know I'm being super spicy here.
Right.
Maybe it has nothing to do with the Vontaze perfect hit. Maybe he was always this guy. Maybe this is because if you really look back and look at teammates, there tends to be a nice line of them going, yeah, he's a crazy person.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just a little kooky.
Yeah.
It's
kooky
not
equals mental health problem.
I'm kooky. I'm perfectly fine.
Well, I mean, you might have a couple of screws loose.
Well, listen here, Dr. Spencer. I believe I will take the medical advice. Look, I'm just fine.
I'm not saying I'm a doctor. I'm not saying any of that.
Am I a tad bit of a jerk? Indeed, I am.
Right.
But
what did you say yesterday?
I don't understand how somebody can look at over the last 5 years, and you can chalk it up to whatever you call it whatever you want to. This is who this guy is. Mm-hmm. He thinks he's above everything. Multiple teams, multiple situations. And everybody just thinks Tom's going to be the great elixir. He's not. Tom Brady has not been the great elixir on every person that ever stepped in a building. Sometimes it just doesn't work.
Right.
Sometimes it just doesn't work.
Well, yeah, all I know is that it worked for the 10 games last year or 8 games last year that after he returned to the league, got in with Tampa Bay, everything was swimming until the offseason. And then now this year has just been it's one thing after another. With the vaccination card, with the he had some issue in the offseason.
He's had all kinds of issues.
Oh yeah.
He's had all kinds of issues. And Kevin Vick, one of our great followers, just said, maybe it's me. There seems to be a common denominator, and maybe you should look at it and go, maybe it's me. Mm-hmm. And I tell people this all the time. Because we all have that one friend that they constantly get into relationships, and then it falls apart, and they want to absolutely cripple the person that they were talking about. Right. Oh, they were so this and that. Well, why is it that every person you end up with is that way?
Right.
You ever notice that the one common thread in all these relationships is you. Different people, different names, different scenarios, different everything. Mm-hmm. And yet they all fall apart. At some point, you have to look at yourself and go, maybe it's me.
Right.
Maybe I did it.
Oh, it's definitely Antonio Brown in this situation. I don't think there's another team that's going to reach out to get him.
And this narrative of, the team tried to force him to play. I heard Dan Patrick say something this morning, and it says a lot for me to give credit to somebody that's on a different network than us. If you're in the NFL and Toradol is a toxic, terrible drug, you haven't been in the NFL for very long.
Right.
I've been told, we used to do this show with a former NFL player. Mm-hmm. He's told me the exact same thing. Yeah, everybody's hurt by the end of the year. Everybody. There's no exception to that. And they have doctors and things like that. Ross Tucker on the same show said, I played with a guy, never wanted to play, always wanted to get paid, never wanted to be on the field. And at the end of the day, you look at Antonio Brown and go, there have been just a slew of issues with you.
Yep.
Just a slew. And you have completely lost the benefit of the doubt.
Mm-hmm.
If Tom Brady looked at a media cameras and said, I'm too hurt to play, and I genuinely think there is a possibility that Tom Brady might be evil. He has completely ruined 20 years of my life. If I heard that come out of his mouth, I would immediately look at him and go, he's hurt.
Yeah.
And I could do that with a ton of other. Derrick Henry.
Mm-hmm.
Derrick Henry goes down. The first thing I told you in a text message before he got to the sideline, if he's showing that hurt, he's hurt.
Oh, yeah.
Hurt.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's gotten hurt a bunch of times, and he'll hop over the sideline and run it off and come back on.
Yep.
When he sits on the bench and goes, I'm hurt, he's hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Antonio Brown, you just have this whole categoric list of things that you've done where I'm not going to give you the benefit of the doubt.
Yep.
Could it be true? Sure. But you're going to have to prove it to me.
Yeah.
And so far, you haven't done that.
No, he thinks he's proven it. He thinks he's giving you all the evidence that you need. The text messages back and forth prior to playing on Sunday with Bruce Arians talking about the ankle. That doesn't mean that at that moment you said my ankle is too hurt. It becomes a he said, she said, and there's no reason to believe Antonio Brown's side of this.
Nope.
Has Matt Rule lost the fan base? Last night, something happened in Charlotte that it's happened to another coach in the NFL, and we're pretty sure he's done. So the question is Matt Rule in the same position? We'll talk about that up next right here on ESPN Asheville.
This is your Exergent Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Winter storm warnings above 3,500 feet for tonight and early Friday morning, and winter weather advisories in effect below 3,500 feet. Talking some 2 to 4 inches of snow with 5 inches above 5,000 feet. Light glazing of ice also possible and gusty wind. 16 tonight as a storm system rakes western North Carolina. Early 22 has been a tough start to winter weather. I'm meteorologist Scott Lariamore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This report is sponsored by Allstate. You may have heard that Allstate has new low auto rates, but isn't it time to see for yourself? With Allstate, you can lower your rates, not your expectations. Visit allstate.com or call an agent for a quote today.
Hey, it's Tank Spencer, host of the Sportsocracy. It's a new year, and Jeremy and I are taking on a new challenge. We're teaming up with PhD Weight Loss to get healthier in 2022.
When the opportunity presented itself with PhD, Tank and I knew we could stand to lose a few pounds.
A few, really?
Okay, it's a lot. Our combined weight loss goal is 200 pounds. But when we sat down with Dr. Ashley Lucas, she told us just how attainable those goals could be. During our initial consultation, we were impressed by her enthusiasm for our success. And the biggest upside is the convenience.
This plan is so easy it can fit into the most hectic of schedules. They even have an option where you can do the program 100% over the phone. I've tried numerous diet plans and lifestyle changes, but I've never found one that's this simple. I mean, PhD gives you 80% of the food and the pathway to success. In 1 month, I've lost 19 pounds.
And I've lost 16. If your goal is to get healthier in the new year, join us on our PhD transformation.
Go to myphdweightloss.com. That's myphdweightloss.com.
Are you 55 or older and haven't had a colonoscopy? Join a colon cancer screening study and you could earn up to $575.
I'll screen.
It's a study for a non-invasive way to screen for colon cancer from home. By joining, you can help advance the science of screening.
I'll screen too.
You'll just need to provide a stool sample, and a colonoscopy will be done through your own insurance. Enroll now and screen to help create a better future for all.
I'll screen.
I'll screen.
Let's all screen for colon cancer.
Visit screeningstudy.com to sign up or learn more. That's screeningstudy.com. Taco Bell presents a get-out-of-bedtime story. It's time to wake up from this amazing dream, even though you're jet skiing on lemonade. How extreme! And oh, look at that, you just won the lottery. Is that a castle? Take the keys, it's your property. What's better than swimming in space? Just wait for the big reveal. It's Taco Bell breakfast and it's actually real. So it's time to wake up and bid your dreams farewell. Because toasted breakfast burritos are waiting for you, only at Taco Bell. At participating Taco Bell locations near you during breakfast hours only.
It's the 2021 Pro Football Challenge. Make your picks now for this week's games. Weekly winners get a $50 gift card to Asheville Pizza and Brewing. All weekly winners go into a drawing for a getaway trip to Kiowa Island Golf Resort. Make your picks now at ESPNAVL.com.
Hey guys, I'm Ziggy, your local Philly girl, owner of Ziggy's Bakery and Deli. I've created a traditional northern deli with only the most authentic cheesesteaks outside of Philadelphia, served with provolone, white American, or Cheese Whiz. Our other classic deli sandwiches are made with the best quality meats and cheeses, available sliced by the pound. Join us for breakfast for house-made bagels with our custom cream cheeses. Or for something heartier, try a pork roll, egg and cheese, or house-cured lox. Ziggy's Bakery and Deli, in the corner of Asheville Commons, 1550 Hendersonville Road, open 8 to 3, Tuesday through Saturday.
Here in Beer City, we take homegrown seriously. And since 2012, Wicked Weed Brewing has been pushing the boundaries of the industry. They've not only created staples like the Freak of Nature Double IPA, the Lieutenant Dank, and Pernicious, but they also opened the first sour beer tap room on the East Coast. Wicked Weed has also supported our local community to the tune of $1.6 million with the Beers That Build program. Visit one of their 4 locations, schedule a brewery tour, or place an order for pickup or delivery. WickedWeedBrewing.com.
The Sportsocracy.
That is some good, clean family fun there, eh, Kai? Right you are.
It's ESPN Asheville, and the question on the table is, has Matt Rule lost the fan base? The Carolina Panthers fan base as a whole, are they done with Matt Rule after just 2 years? Last night, the Charlotte Hornets, a pretty big win over the Detroit Pistons. I get it. It's the Pistons. I shouldn't get too excited about it. But
that will not be the last Pistons appearance in this show, I promise you.
140-111 was the final score last night. Hornets just dump trucked them.
Yeah, the Detroit Pistons don't do that stopping people from scoring thing really well at all.
Right, but at the end of the game, they're doing the post-game show out on the concourse of the Spectrum Center, and, in true Charlotte Hornets fan fashion, a bunch of fans gathered around for the backdrop. Kevin Vick, he made his national television debut, I believe, on the Hornets pregame show, or at least regional television appearance, standing in the background of the Hornets postgame show. So they gather around and they start chanting, "Fire Rule." We've seen this already with Matt Nagy in Chicago, and everybody wants him gone. They've gone to NBA games and chanted "Fire Nagy." Kevin Vick even said, as I did the tease for this upcoming segment in the chat, thesportsocracy.com, click on that live video link, hit the subscribe button so you can get in the chat and see all of the wonderful things that Kevin Vick has to say, or the bad things he has to say about Matt Rule.
Most of them are bad.
But anyway, they're calling for him to be fired. And he said when he was at a game on Sunday that they showed a group of guys in the crowd with Fire Rule t-shirts on, and it was the loudest ovation of the night, of anybody, of anything that happened during the game. So has he lost it? Has he lost the fan base, and will this make David Tepper make a rash decision?
Well, the biggest question is, are you going to be able to get over the fact that Matt Rule's third year has always been the year that he has vastly improved?
Exactly.
At Temple, started 2-10, went 6-6, 2 10-win seasons in a row.
Mm-hmm.
Baylor started 1-11, 7-6, 11-3.
Yep.
Now you got the Panthers that are 5-11, 5-11. What happens next year? And that's been one of the things I have never been able to get past.
Mm-hmm.
And what are you going to do to replace him? I mean, it's one thing if you've got some hammer coach that you just feel absolutely great about,
right?
A Jim Harbaugh, somebody like that. It's another if you're looking at Brian Daboll going, yeah, that'll work. I don't know that there has ever been a coaching candidate in the history of time that I have had less faith in than Brian Daboll.
Really?
Well, he was a Jets coach for quite some time. Never looked at him and went, yeah, that guy's going to be head coach of this league one day.
Right.
As he ran Mark Sanchez into the ground.
Finding the right head coach is one of the toughest things that I believe an ownership, a front office has to do, is to find the guy who's going to win you the games. I have always been on the side of you'd give a guy more than 2 years. I mean, even when Tampa was making the decisions on Raheem Morris and Greg Schiano, I believe both of them only got 2 years.
Well, Greg Schiano, I think in 2 years we saw pretty much everything we needed to see.
Yeah. I felt pretty good, but still, it made you think, is 2 years too soon? Are we going to take a giant step back by doing that?
I mean, it depends on the coach. This team was 3-0. Struggled with the Jets in a game we were at. Little did I know that would be the high water mark for my Jets season.
Right.
Beat New Orleans, beat Houston.
You should have known.
Hey, look here, Tampa boy. As soon as Tom Brady disappears, you're going to be right back here with the losers like the rest of us. So,
I've never disagreed with that.
The question is, what could you replace him with?
Mm-hmm.
I don't find this job to be very alluring. I've always said that. There's nothing that because if I'm a coaching candidate and I have options, the number one thing I'm going to look at is, what is your quarterback situation? Because that is what gets coaches fired invariably.
Yeah.
You look around the league at the jobs that are going to be open. I got Derek Carr with the Raiders. I got Trevor Lawrence with the Jaguars. Justin Fields with the Bears, who no, I'm not in love with, but do I like him better than Sam Darnold?
Yeah.
No, not by as much as you would think, but yeah, I do.
I mean, right now you gotta say the trajectory of those two are pretty far apart.
No, I really don't. No.
Okay.
No, I'll be honest with you. There's it's a Twitter group, I guess. I don't really know what to call that.
Okay.
Where there's a lot of us that do this for a living that were in it. Rate your feeling on all of the rookie quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. Justin Fields finished behind Davis Mills. So
in the whole group?
Yeah.
Like the public opinion of the group?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
800 some odd votes of people that in some shape, form, or fashion do this for a living.
That
Justin Fields finished dead last, and it wasn't close.
That seems insane to me, but okay.
But you look around and go, okay, so what could you do to make this job more alluring? You already have an owner that has proven he will do what it takes to win.
Mm-hmm.
That's a positive. You have nice facilities, things are happening, looking at doing a new stadium, all of those things are positives. But they're not really positives for a coach right now.
Mm-hmm.
Those are 3-5 years down the line.
Right.
You look at this team right now and go, the defense is good and the defense is young. Now, do I love how Phil Snow has called it and coordinated it? No, not really. But there's still talent.
Right.
I'm looking at Jeremy Chin and Brian Burns and Derek Brown. There's talent on the defense.
Mm-hmm.
And you got McCaffrey and you got some weapons. But at the end of the day, the two biggest things that go into a team being successful are your quarterback and your offensive line. That's the two biggest questions for Carolina, and you don't have the draft capital to fix it.
Agreed.
And there's not a whole lot of free agent options that are going to fix it either.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, and I know this won't be popular with Panthers fans, I think your best bet's probably to go into another year with old Mr. Rule.
See, now I'm glad you said that because I'm on the same side. I'm on the same side of you got to give him another year. Don't pull the plug on this thing just yet. Are you going to need a new head coach eventually? Yes. Yes, I believe so. I don't think this is going to be a long-term thing.
I still like Matt Rule personally.
I mean, he's fine, but he rankles people. People don't like him. He's not warm and fuzzy. He doesn't have a cool shtick or what. Like he doesn't appeal to anybody in the fan base.
I'm a big fan of people that aren't warm and fuzzy.
But my question remains: will the pressure from the fan base make David Tepper do something he's not necessarily ready to do or should do at this moment? We've already seen with the Cam Newton thing, we believe that was a David Tepper thing.
You'll never convince me it wasn't.
Exactly. So will the public pressure make David Tepper do something that maybe he really shouldn't? Maybe maybe this is not a 1-year turnaround job. This is let's give it another year. Let's make the decision next year after we add some pieces.
After Just About Outside, there's something that I want to ask Panther fans because I know we have a slew of them in the comments.
Okay.
There is a question that I want to ask that I don't think is given enough credence, and it might sway your opinion on what should happen with Matt Rule.
The Sports Tag.
Just a bit outside.
All right, here's the 411, folks.
All right, you can always count on Tennessee legislators to give you something spicy to talk about every now and then.
Oh, I almost told this story yesterday.
And up in Johnson City, Tennessee, on Tuesday night, there was a high school basketball game between the Providence Academy and Lakewood Christian Academy. And just so happened that Tennessee State Representative Jeremy Faison, who's shocked his name's Jeremy, Jeremy Faison is at the game. For some reason, he's walking on the court. Like, I thought, is he an assistant coach for one of the teams? Or
No.
what? No, he's just walking on the court at, like, a pivotal point in the game, and he gets into an argument with one of the referees. And we don't know what was said. We didn't have him mic'd up or anything to see what was being said. But on the video, you can see Representative Faison point at the referee, like put his finger in his face and kind of wag it. And then he tried to pants him in front of the entire crowd. He made the full motion to try to pull this referee's pants down in the middle of a basketball game. They had to stop all the action and everything. And and then he has to send out the apology. He sends out the apology of, I lost my cool. He says, unfortunately, quote, unfortunately, I acted the fool tonight and lost my temper on a ref. I was wanting him to fight me. Totally lost my junk and got booted. I was bad wrong. First off, Representative Faison does not look to me like a millennial, so maybe you should stop talking like one. That's my bad, dog. Like, yeah, that from a Tennessee Republican? Thank you.
But here's what really got me. Okay, as a former player, as a former coach, I have said some less than ideal things to officials. There is at least one that listens to this show that can confirm that. I have never tried to pants one. Like, you are saying, I'm going to pull your pants down in public. How did that come into your thought process?
Right.
That is how I'm going to get you.
I mean, Representative Faison, if you ask me, he would strike me more of a Dan Campbell kind of a guy than to be the guy who's going to pants somebody on the sideline. Although, would you be shocked if Dan Campbell tried to pants one of the referees during an NFL game?
No, not the least. And then try to dunk his head in the toilet.
So maybe he is just an overall meathead. I don't know.
Here's what I would love to know. I would love to know how Representative, would you say Faison? Is that his last name?
Yeah.
I would love to know how he walked in the building the next day, just coming to work, because his son plays on the opposing team, the visiting team. Mm-hmm. I would love to know, because this trended on Twitter within hours of it happening. I would love to know how you walk in the building the next day. You just got your briefcase in your hand, you look at the secretary, Cheryl, nice to see you. Bill, does anybody know? Anybody been on Twitter in the last 12 hours?
Oh, we all know. We know immediately. The funniest thing was, so somehow both teams got technical fouls for this exchange happening.
Well, something happened beforehand.
Okay, and they asked him to leave, and he turned around and told him, this was your fault.
Yeah,
well, how's it my fault?
You did this. I am losing my mind because of you.
Okay, Antonio Brown, you deserved the pantsing, and that should not be on me. I don't believe so.
That is, it is. I watched that whole video just going, oh, this is not. This will be with you for the rest of your life.
And what's worse is he probably picked up a bunch of votes because of it.
Oh, I'm sure he did. I'm sure he did from some people.
Right.
Probably some that are in my immediate family. ESPN football reporter Adam Schefter has broken many injury reports over the years. He has done many great things in his NFL career.
Of course.
Well, on Monday Night Football, he might have had the low light. He did the gritty which is that little touchdown dance that a lot of players in the NFL do. I can't really describe it.
Mm-hmm.
It's really just an iteration of about 4 different dances that I've seen, because I don't know the difference.
So is this like the floss?
It's like that. No, it's not like that. This is it's just a little jumping dance. Well, as a 34-year-old overweight talk show host, I can tell you that at my age and my size, it's a dance that I should not be doing.
No.
And I am 55 years, or Schefter is 55, so I'm 21 years younger than him.
Mm-hmm.
He tore his meniscus doing it and thought he had blown his ACL. The funniest part of this, he went on NFL Countdown and replayed the incident to outline his injury.
Yeah.
He did like a little quarter turn at the end of it, and he went, there, that's where it happened. And I went, oh, that sounds like something I would say. Oh, you mean you did something very not even kind of athletic and you tore your knee?
Oh, yeah.
Welcome to old age, Adam Schefter. Please don't try to do that again.
No, it's not. And here's the thing. The older you get, the less and less that you can do physically. I mean, it's just, and you could be in great shape. Like the other night, we had we had a bit of a wordy dirt incident in the post game of the UNC Asheville basketball game because Mike Morrell. Yeah,
how have I not heard about this?
So Mike Morrell was celebrating the win with his players, and he slipped coming off the court, coming to the broadcast booth. And he swore he had tore his ACL, and he was in massive pain. I mean, like, he's doing the post-game interview with Brian Hall, going, yeah, I think I really did something there, coming off the field. And then at one point, he just goes, bleep. And he was like, oh, I'm sorry, but this really hurts. Like, even a guy in that good of shape, Mike Morrell's a fit
in
dude.
Fantastic shape.
Right. Even a guy like that can tweak something here and there, and... yeah, Adam Schefter, just don't try to do dance moves after you're 28 years old.
I'm just going to level with you. I stepped in a hole outside of Radio Ranch about 2 weeks ago. I'm still not completely over it.
Uh-huh.
There are times that I put my foot on the ground, put a little weight on that knee, and I just go, oh, that's not good. And I'm 34 years old.
Poor Adam Schefter.
I am 10 years younger than Tom Brady. I also threw my back out about a month ago sneezing. That's you don't come back from that.
No.
It's just, it is what it is.
Well, you really don't recover from that at all. No, you don't. So yeah, Adam Schefter learned a very valuable lesson, and he's gonna have to have surgery, right? Didn't I see that? He's gonna have to have surgery on the knee.
Yeah, because he tore his meniscus.
That's awful.
Your ACL. If a lot of people don't know this, you can just not repair an ACL.
Yes.
If you don't plan on running or doing anything athletic, an ACL, it hurts. But they'll go in there and just take it out.
Oh, yeah.
You'll never be able to run again, but that's fine. A meniscus? That's right in the knee. There is nothing you're going to do about that. That will hurt until you fix it.
All right, so Matt Rule, has he lost the fan base? And Jeremy, what is your question for Panthers fans?
I feel like Carolina forgets how bad this team was. Towards the end, all right, the last year of Ron Rivera, when you were 5-11, do you not remember how bad that team was? With Kyle Allen and Will Greer as your quarterback? A whole lot of Reggie Bonifant and just buh. Fact or fiction, this team is in way better shape right now than they were 2 years ago.
Fact. It's not even debatable.
And see, to me, it's not debatable. Do you know who the leading sacker of that team was?
The leading sacker? What is this,
the
cricket?
sack leader.
No, I have no idea who the sack leader was.
That was Brian Burns' rookie year. He was third.
All right.
Mario Addison led the team in sacks. Bruce Irvin was 2.
Yep.
I feel like you're in way better position today than you were when that ended.
There's no question, personnel-wise, talent-wise, they are better, but are they better coaching-wise? Are they better off moving on from Matt Rule?
I'm still going to say no, solely because I don't know who would. I've looked at all the I don't think this is a particularly strong class of assistants and college coaches, and the field is not that great.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't feel really good about Brian Daboll. There's a slew of retreads that are going to get that will get interviews.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see any way Byron Leftwich doesn't get the Jacksonville Jaguars job, and he's one of the ones I like the most.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, here's the problem for me. All right, you fire Rule, and you come out with what? Leslie Frazier
Mm-hmm.
or Brian Daboll. I don't think you're in better shape with that. These are two. Leslie Frazier was a disaster of a head coach.
Mm-hmm.
And Daboll's had been good with Josh Allen. Okay, but you don't have a quarterback. You don't have a quarterback for him to do what it is that he does. Adam Black, one of our resident Panther fans, said, I'd take Doug Peterson. Really? Outside of that one Super Bowl year, there was anything you saw? I'll be honest with you. We talked to Doug Peterson when we hired Robert Saleh. There have been very few things that ever went, no. You
just don't like him at all.
It's not that I don't like him. I've never seen what it was that everybody saw in him.
Mm-hmm.
That staff he had in that Eagles year was fantastic. He's not going to do that again. It's going to be a lot on him, and he's going to be expensive.
So his success was mostly based on his supporting cast in the staff room.
I'm going to say the same thing in reverse about Doug Peterson that I have said about Frank Reich more than once.
Okay.
I liked Doug and Frank together. I don't particularly like either one of them without the other.
Okay.
There was some kind of sounding board that happened between the two of them where Frank was the offensive visionary, and I think you see that in Indianapolis.
Mm-hmm.
But he was needlessly risky, and Doug could kind of rein that in. Doug was unbelievably bland, and Frank Reich kind of interjected some flair. Together, that's great. That's a nice pairing together. I don't really love either one of you by yourself.
Okay.
And I'll be honest with you, that's one of the best ones that you're going to throw out there.
Right.
There's just not a lot of candidates out there. And I don't know how many more of them I would like more than Matt Rule, especially considering how much churn you're going to have if you go in a different direction. I know the fan base is not happy. You've been 5-11 3 years in a row. And trust me, I understand, because I think the Jets have been 5-11 since I graduated high school. I think the last time we weren't that, I couldn't legally buy alcohol. It's good timing. Thanks, Jets, for just falling apart about the time that I gained the ability to drink, because it helps.
Nice. There was a question in the comments as well about the Washington football team name. Do we know what it is?
Allegedly, the Admirals.
There's one source that says they think they have figured it out. J.P. Finley of NBC Washington and 106.7 The Fan said he went online and he typed in WashingtonAdmirals.com, and it redirected him to WashingtonFootball.com, which is the official website of the Washington football team. So, is that a clue that is the name, or is that just coincidence? Is that due diligence?
That's what's called parking. I guarantee you it may not go to the website, but there are plenty of other websites that if you typed in WashingtonSenators.com, it probably do. I'm not going to say it'd do the same thing.
Right.
It kind of gets techie. Whatever the team name is, they own that domain. They probably own 15 more, too.
Oh, I would imagine so.
So that doesn't necessarily mean that that's what it's going to be.
No. Since then, it has been changed, though. If you go to WashingtonAdmirals.com, it now forwards to a page that is raising money for food service workers.
Yeah.
So somebody caught it. Somebody at some point caught that directs the Washington football team, and we don't want that to happen. So is the name Admirals, or is it like you said? Do you think that they have bought up all of these website domains just in case, and somebody accidentally forwarded it to the Washington football team page?
Oh, there's no doubt that they own a bunch of these domains.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean that that's the team name. I mean, I'll be honest with you. There's several different things that if you type those in, guess where you end up. TheSportsocracy.com. Basically, any URL I own, that's where you land.
Right.
Well, I mean, and there used to be, this was years ago. Every website like this took you to Wayfair. The furniture, the cheap furniture website.
Wayfair?
Yeah. That was just what you parked on URLs that you had.
Okay.
I did it a bunch of times. You're welcome, Wayfair.
I was going to say, what's the point?
People going to my website buying deck chairs. Like, did I get commission from that? No, I didn't.
Right.
And I'm still a little perturbed by that.
Regardless of what the name is going to be, there are going to be people who are disappointed on either side. Like I said, I still feel like Washington Brigade is the best one.
They're all bad. They're all bad.
The Washington Commanders, I think, would be my number 2, and Admirals would be my 3. I mean, I get it. Virginia's a big Navy state. I mean, I think the largest naval base is in Norfolk. So,
the only one
I get the Admirals thing, but I don't know. I feel like that might put some people off.
The only one I've seen so far that I like is Senators, and you have to add something to it. The Washington Senators does nothing for me.
Okay. There was already a baseball team named that.
And that's fine. I promise you. That baseball team is defunct, by the way, so that doesn't really matter. You have to add socks at the end. It's the Washington Senator socks.
The Washington Senator socks.
If you don't like Burt Kreischer, you probably didn't understand that joke. But
it's a high-level joke right there.
Yeah.
High-level joke.
Yeah, and if you didn't get it, we'll explain it in the third hour of this program, which is uncensored, YouTube and Facebook Live exclusive.
You know, Stephen Tao, we put up with a lot sometimes, but you need to stop with that opinion. He put in the chat here at on the live video stream. Join us at thesportsocracy.com. Click on that subscribe button. That he likes the football team. No one else likes the football team. Stop it.
There's actually more support for that than you think.
I hate it. It's so awful.
I hate it solely because we do graphics for this show, and I have every team, and it's nice and concise. And then I have the football team, which is way too long.
It's just FT. It just goes to FT.
Smaller.
It's just like soccer. And that's why I hate it. I don't need the Washington FT.
I don't. I mean, I like soccer. I'm totally fine with soccer. I'm very much looking forward to going to the Charlotte Football Club games later this year.
Mm-hmm. Just not tradition in the NFL. And why are you going to why you want to be the team that breaks that tradition?
I want to come
You need a nickname.
I have yet to come up with a funny one, and I'm going to. I just don't know what it's going to be. Because the vast majority of them are things I can't say on the show.
All right, we don't know. Is it going to be the Admirals? It's one clue that we will get the answer to on February the 2nd. We're only 26 days away from finding out the thing that has so many people guessing, or has kept so many people guessing for the last year. You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN. Asheville. Greene on Greene is coming up next. How'd you do last night, by the way?
1-2, missed 0-3 by half a point. Thank you, Hook.
Okay.
The Indiana Pacers.
So when we come back from the break, Jeremy will effort to do better. Greene on Greene is coming up next.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I am Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina. Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community, one that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at roguecombatclub.com.
iHeartRadio Earth knows small changes make a big difference for the environment. Did you know that keeping your tires even a single PSI lower than recommended means worse mileage and more trips to the pump? So do the environment and your wallet a favor and always check the tire pressure. Brought to you by iHeartRadio Earth and the National Environmental Education Foundation. To find more tips on smarter, sustainable living or to take action in your own community, go to iHeartRadio.com/Earth.
Are you suffering from chronic joint pain like Heather?
I have terrible arthritis and have had it for quite a while, and I've gone to all kinds of doctors trying to figure out what to do, and everybody just said surgery, and surgery was months of rehab, and I didn't want to do that.
But then Heather discovered QC Kinetics, local medical professionals who specialize in natural biologic treatments, non-invasive solutions designed to repair and restore damaged tissue in your joints. And she absolutely loves the results.
I like to tell anybody who's suffering that there are options that are not steroids, that are not surgery. You owe it to yourself to find out about QC Kinetics and find out what they can do for you.
No surgery, no drugs, no downtime. Discover QC Kinetics and learn more about natural biologic treatments with lasting results.
Call QC Kinetics, 828-333-9517. That's 828-333-9517. Don't wait. Call QC Kinetics today, 828-333-9517.
Saving at the Home Depot means you can do more for less. Like upgrading your kitchen with a top-rated Samsung kitchen suite, a smart range with air fry, a smart cooling system refrigerator, and a dishwasher with advanced quiet cycles. And with free delivery, the savings come to you. Shop in-store, online, or in the Home Depot app. The Home Depot, how doers get more done. U.S. only while supplies last. Valid 1/6 through 1/26/2022. Free delivery on orders of $396 or more.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company presents
And Doug.
Don't you just love the smell of old books?
Shh, this is a library.
Sorry, ma'am. We're looking for a book titled Liberty Mutual Customizes Your Car Insurance so you only pay for what you need.
I don't think we carry that, but check nonfiction.
He really does devour literature.
Please leave.
Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Imagine the organizing possibilities with Lowe's, where keeping it all together comes with Project Source Clear Storage Totes starting at $238 and iDesign plus the Spruce Storage Bin starting at $1298. Clean up your closet with the Closet-Made Brightwood Closet Kit starting at $119.98. Find it all at Lowe's Store and Save event in-store and on Lowe's.com. Lowe's, home to any budget, home to any possibility. Valid through 3/18. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. U.S. only. iDesign plus the Spruce Storage Bin. Pricing excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
Coffee store closes on.
Get them the money. Then when you get the money, you get the power.
That watch costs more than your car.
Then when you get the power, then you get the woman.
2-1 last night, 1-2 the night before. We've started the year dead even. 3-3. Tonight I got 3 picks for you in the NBA. And for once, there's no dogs. I like all the favorites. The first one tonight, the Golden State Warriors traveled to the Frosty Smoothie King Arena in New Orleans to take on the New Orleans Pelicans. Steph Curry may not play in this game. The Warriors did not look particularly good last night, and New Orleans is way better at home. Here's the thing. I don't care about any of that. This team is still awful, terribly, horribly bad. Golden State's not, even with Jordan Poole, I think they can move the ball. The thing New Orleans can't do, they can't stop anybody. So somehow you're telling me they're going to stop one of the most offensively prolific teams in the NBA just because they're missing one guy? I don't buy it. Give me the Warriors minus the 2.5. The Boston Celtics are a 1.5-point favorite tonight in Madison Square Garden against the New York Knicks. Boston's 5-2 straight up and 4-2-1 against the spread when playing on the second half of a back-to-back. Don't ask me why this team is so much better on no rest. Maybe it's because you don't have that much time to think, and there is a lot of dysfunction with this team.
Mm-hmm.
The reason this number is so low is because there's a possibility Jason Tatum doesn't play. I don't care. Boston's markedly better. I had this as it should have been a 5-point lean if everything was hunky-dunky. That's enough for me to take the Boston Celtics minus the 1.5. Finally, the Memphis Grizzlies are a 12.5-point favorite tonight at home against the Detroit Pistons. Shocking thing about Memphis, they're really good on the road. They're not as great at home. I don't know why that is. But I don't care. They've won 6 in a row. They're 5-1 against the spread in that stretch. This is not enough points. Give me the Grizzlies minus 12.5.
Go and do likewise, gents. The money's out there. You pick it up, it's yours. You don't, I got no sympathy for you.
Picking on those New Orleans Pelicans.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. I've come to a conclusion that this year, picking the NBA, I'm just going to keep bashing bad teams.
Right.
Because the bad teams in this league are putridly bad. Detroit is horror-awful. Oh, but they have Cade Cunningham and Sadiq Bey. Tremendous. Well, that's just swell.
I mean, but Cade Cunningham, he's going to be able to help turn that franchise around. Just not this year.
Here's the thing. If you're watching the YouTube stream, is my water bottle.
Mm-hmm.
Cade Cunningham would give up 17 points to this bottle in my hand.
Can't stop anybody at the NBA level.
Couldn't stop a nosebleed with a roll of paper towels.
Oh, just like the New Orleans Pelicans.
The Pelicans are one of the worst defensive teams I've ever seen.
Well, I mean, and that was the case last year when we were talking about their attempted run in the playoffs. Well, you are bad defensively, and it hasn't gotten any better. And no. Zion has just completely taken his leave of this team.
Zion has said, "I'm done. I don't like it here, and I don't want to be here anymore."
I don't understand it. The reports keep getting worse and worse and worse, and I think I'm about there with him.
Oh, you're so wrong. In the next hour, we got Jones Angel coming up at the top of the hour of Tar Heel time. In the next hour, we're going to discuss how unbelievably wrong you are about Zion Williamson.
Mm-hmm. He's going to eat his way right out of the league, and it's going to be a problem.
And there's a reason for that. This is not the first time we've seen this. This is not a new way of getting your way.
Mm-hmm.
But if New Orleans were to put him on the market, I have a feeling the market would be rather robust.
I can understand the upside, but I think the warning signs have already been there. That's not a decision that you want to make. If you want a stable franchise, and the guy's already pulling this stuff 2 years in, I get that they're a bad team, but he knew that.
Yeah.
He knew that going in.
We're going to talk about this in the next hour.
Yeah,
there are just a lot of things that you're patently wrong on, and I will tell you all of them.
Jones Angel, voice of the North Carolina Tar Heels, coming up after the Sports Center update. And, we'll talk about that basketball team, the end of the football season as well, and, what the path forward is for Hubert Davis and the Tar Heels.
This is your Exergent Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Winter storm warnings above 3,500 feet for tonight and early Friday morning, and winter weather advisories in effect below 3,500 feet. Talking some 2 to 4 inches of snow with 5 inches above 5,000 feet. Light glazing of ice also possible, and gusty wind. 16 tonight as a storm system rakes western North Carolina. Early 22 has been a tough start to winter weather. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This report is sponsored by Allstate. You may have heard that Allstate has new low auto rates, but isn't it time to see for yourself? With Allstate, you can lower your rates, not your expectations. Visit allstate.com or call an agent for a quote today.
February 3rd. It's the biggest night of the year for podcast fans.
These are really some of the best and brightest and smartest and most compelling minds in the country.
Our 2022 iHeartRadio Podcast Awards. Make plans to join us on our Facebook, YouTube, and iHeartRadio stations across America.
Audible is a proud sponsor of the Audible Audio Pioneer Award. Listen to the best of what you love with Audible Originals, audiobooks, podcasts, and more. True crime, sci-fi, memoirs, and wellness. Audible's got something for every mood. Try it for free when you sign up at audible.com.
Hi, I'm Flo from Progressive. Being a baseball fanatic like me can be stressful. It's not all sports points and touchdowns. So Progressive is going to help you take your mind off your team for a moment. Instead of thinking about how they missed that goal point score, think about the Name Your Price tool from Progressive, letting you choose coverage options based on your budget, unlike your team that missed the end zone net area. Well, anyway, hope this distraction about Progressive's Name Your Price tool was helpful. It sure kept me from thinking about all those penalty balls. Yay, sports!
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
The Sportsocracy.
What are you people? On dope?
From the Ingalls Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart Radio Station.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm
Doug Brown. 4 days after he danced off the field in the middle of a game, wideout Antonio Brown is now officially out of a job. His contract terminated by the Buccaneers today. Head coach Bruce Arians describes what happened when Brown refused to take the field in the third quarter.
I then went back, approached him about what was going on. I ain't playing. What's going on? I ain't getting the ball. That's when I said, "You're done. Get the F out of here." And that's the end of it.
Brown maintains his injured ankle was too painful to play and now needs surgery. Chiefs running back Clyde Edwards-Helaire is out for Saturday's game against the Broncos. It'll be the second game he's missed with a bruised shoulder. The Chiefs will clinch the number 1 seed in the AFC with a win and a Titans loss or tie against the Texans. A federal judge rejects an attempt by Los Angeles County to end Vanessa Bryant's lawsuit. Kobe Bryant's widow says the family suffered emotional distress after photos of the helicopter crash site 2 years ago were shared.
Want an easy way to see if you could save money on car insurance? Geico gives you 3. Call 1-800-947-AUTO. Go online to geico.com or stop by the Geico office nearest you. 3 ways you could save 15% or more.
He's a degenerate gambler.
You are a smelly pirate hooker.
And he's cheaper than oxygen.
He's useless.
But somehow, they make it work. Jeremy Greene, Tank Spencer. There's no holding back in the Sportsocracy. Presented by Ingles Supermarkets and Wicked Weed Brewing.
And welcome back into ESPN Asheville 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. The Sportsocracy heard everywhere on the iHeart Radio app, seen everywhere on YouTube. Just go to thesportsocracy.com, click on that live video link, and of course, subscribe to the channel. You can get in the chat there, and it is time to talk about the North Carolina Tar Heels. Second hour of the program, as always, brought to you by Wicked Weed Brewing. Check them out at wickedweedbrewing.com. Wicked Weed Brewing. Drink different. Tar Heel times with time with the voice of the North Carolina Tar Heels, Jones Angel. Happy New Year to you, brother. How's it going?
Oh, Tank, doing well. Great to be back with you. Hope you and Jeremy had a great holiday, and looking forward to getting through ACC play here. It's been, I felt like Carolina was doing some good things. Had a tough night last night in South Bend. Of course, they were down 3 players, which doesn't help, and let some opportunities slip away there in the final minutes against Notre Dame. But looking forward to jumping fully into ACC play here, and excited to be back in Chapel Hill on Saturday against Virginia.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, teams, you got to do what you got to do to make things happen. We've seen the coronavirus and the protocols and things play roles in so many games. I mean, NC State losing their bowl game, and it's yet another season of where you have to make these snap decisions on changing schedules and all of that. I can't even imagine the frustration from an administration trying to go through all of these things, but it really, really hurts when you have to go into a game against a tough conference opponent and you're missing players. Are they?
Yeah, and Carolina had 8 scholarship players available, and Hubert Davis and Carolina wasn't going to use that as an excuse, and the Tar Heels had a chance to win the game. They were up 1 with about 3 minutes to go, and did not execute down the stretch offensively or defensively the way that they wanted to. And so, they came up short. Credit to Notre Dame. I thought they shot the ball really well. Sometimes it was because Carolina wasn't in the right spot defensively, and then sometimes I thought the Irish hit some tough shots with guys in their face. And so, that happens when you go on the road in the league. Carolina's had to play its first 3 conference games on the road. So it'll be nice for them to be at home for the next 2 against Virginia and then Georgia Tech. But you also leave that game, I think, for the Tar Heels, kind of feeling like you missed an opportunity because it was not necessarily a difficult environment, Tank. The students aren't back yet for Notre Dame, and so it was not a particularly hostile environment. Again, Carolina felt like it had opportunities to win and unfortunately just couldn't do it. So they hopefully will get healthier here soon and be closer to full strength when they play Virginia coming up on Saturday.
Well, Jones, since the last time we talked to you here on Tar Heel Time, the basketball team is 2-2. We had that big blowout loss against Kentucky. The last-minute schedule change there in Las Vegas. But then, you beat App State, handled Boston College over the weekend, which I was thankful to be able to have enough time to watch that game unfold as it did. It looked like the dominant UNC, and then, as you said last night, ended up losing 78-73 to Notre Dame. What kind of sense are you getting about this team now that we're getting into conference play and getting a stride?
Yeah, to me, it really seems like Carolina's defense is the barometer on how successful the Tar Heels can be. Because when they play defensively at a high level, I think they're a really good team. You saw that. Now, granted, I understand Boston College is not a world beater right now, and they were coming off a long COVID pause. But when you saw Carolina's defensive effort in the first half against BC, they just were suffocating and didn't let the Eagles get going in any way. And the Tar Heels built that enormous lead and then cruised to the win in the second half. And then you have nights like last night when Carolina just couldn't consistently get enough stops. And in the 4 losses that Carolina's had in the first 14 games, that's really been the common theme, is that they've been unable to consistently get stops. And a lot of that starts with slowing down the drive. And Notre Dame tends to, more than some of the other teams Carolina has played, the Irish will kick it back out and start rotating around the perimeter with passes until they get an open look, compared to trying to take maybe a floater or a shot in the paint. But it really comes down to stopping that penetration into the paint for the Tar Heels. And that's not easy to do, but it's something that Carolina has worked hard on. And at times they've been good, and at times they've struggled with it. And so, to me, that's really the linchpin here, is how can Carolina continue to improve defensively? And if it plays defensively at a high level, the Heels are pretty darn good because they can score. Even last night, down the personnel that they were down, particularly Garcia and Kerwin Walton, that they were still able to offensively have a solid evening, particularly in the second half. So to me, it's that defense that really is the key.
Absolutely, and the perimeter shooting. I was telling my dad the other day as we were watching the game, like just lean into this whole perimeter shooting thing. This was Hubert Davis's calling card, and that's what his offense is going to look like, right? From here on out, he's going to find outside shooters, and we are going to strive as a basketball team to be the best 3-point shooting team in the country.
Well, I think what Hubert Davis wants is something at the basket or an open look for three. And so whether that is a drive or getting it in the post to Armando Bacot, who you saw last night was incredibly effective, or if once you work it inside, if then you can find one of those great shooters, R.J. Davis, Caleb Love, Kerwin Walton, Brady Manick, Dawson Garcia is a good shooter from out there. Whoever it is, an open look from three is a good shot for this team. These are guys who can shoot. That doesn't mean you're going to make every one of them, but those are good shots. And so Carolina wants the ball inside first, and then if you have a layup or an easy look for Bacot, take it. If not, then that's when you want to kick it back out and find somebody open. Where I think Carolina failed last night, for example, Tank, in those last couple of minutes after they had the lead, is that they didn't do those things. They had a couple of possessions where they turned it over. Caleb Love took a really tough kind of pivoting mid-range jump shot, but they didn't get to the rim, and they didn't get the ball to Bacot, and that's where it needs to start. And again, it can end up back on the outside, but you want to be able to get inside first, either by pass or by drive. And then when you're able to do both things, that's when you're really effective. And so Carolina did not get those type of high-quality shots, I thought, in the last couple of minutes last night, and that really hurt them down the stretch.
I have seen this narrative a lot since the football season has gone, or is coming to a conclusion, and basketball is getting more and more limelight now. How bad is the ACC? as a conference as a whole? And do you think that this is like a a pivotal year for the conference as a whole?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a concerning state right now that the ACC is in. I mean, you've got Duke, who right now is ranked in the top 10 and who has been pretty good for the most part this entire season. You have some teams like Carolina and Wake Forest and I think Miami who are pretty good but haven't shown that they're ready to compete on a consistent basis at that national level. Certainly the Tar Heels are used to being in that area, but they haven't shown that they're ready to do that just yet this year. And then after that, you've got a lot of teams that are a game or two above 500 or a game or two below 500 and just kind of in that middling area. And I do think that is concerning. And, I think big picture here, this has been talked about for a long time, but the teams in the SEC and the teams in the Big Ten just make a lot more money right now. And at some point when you're making tens of millions of dollars as an athletic department more every single year, at some point that's going to show up. And you look, and even in the top 25 in basketball, you're looking at 5 or 6 SEC teams and 4 or 5 Big Ten teams, and then you've got one ACC team right now. And so that's not the only reason, but I do think that is something to keep an eye on as those financial numbers continue to grow and the ACC continues to try and figure out how to compete financially. And so in addition to that, you've also just need to see a better product on the court and on the field if you're talking about basketball or football. You've seen a lot of coaching transition, I think, here recently in both sports. That's never that always makes things more challenging. But at some point, you've got to start competing more consistently at a national level. Clemson certainly has done it in football. Carolina is getting closer, but they haven't proven it on the field just yet. They're stockpiling the talent, but they need to now carry that over to the field. You need Florida State. You need Miami on the football side of things if you're the ACC to compete at a consistent level like their history suggests that they can. You need Carolina. You need Duke. You need Virginia and Florida State. You need those teams to compete at a high level on the basketball court. And right now, you're just not getting it the way that you need it, I think, from top to bottom in the league.
Who would you say is the most disappointing team this year in college, or not in college basketball, but in the ACC out of all the teams? Because my answer is the team that we're playing this weekend in Virginia.
Well, Virginia certainly has had a sluggish start for them. Of course, Tony Bennett has changed the standard there with what he's been able to do over the last 6-7 years, including, of course, the national title in 2019. I will say, Virginia's playing better. They've won their last 2 games on the road. They've won at Syracuse. They won at Clemson by 10, and Clemson had just beaten Virginia by 17 in Charlottesville a couple of games prior to that. And so, I would just say keep an eye on Virginia because I think they have a really good coach in Tony Bennett, and they seem to be playing a little bit better. I don't know if you can pick one team because I think there's some. Syracuse they're right around 500, and that's a veteran team that I think expected to do more. Carolina is 10-4, which is not bad in any stretch, and 2-1 in the league. But a couple of their losses have been really ugly, and losses that you don't expect to have when you're at Carolina. So it just Florida State has been a team that's been a higher national profile in recent years, and they're right around 500 at the moment. Virginia Tech expected to have a good team this year. I think they're 8-6 right now overall. So there's a lot of teams that I think are still trying to find their way as they move through this season that expected to have better years. And the good news is for all those teams, Tar Heels included, is that there's still a long way to go. Carolina has 17 ACC games still to play, not even halfway through the schedule. So they need to keep getting better. There's plenty of things that Tar Heels can improve on, but they and a lot of teams in the league have time to do so. but they also understand that it needs to start happening because when you go through the ACC, no matter the relative strength of the league, which I do think, as we said, is a little bit down, it's still not easy to go through when you're playing 2 games a week for 2 straight months against teams that know you well. That's a challenge, and that's what everybody's in the middle of right now.
Well, it's going to be very, very odd. It's already very, very odd. But for folks who may be so compartmentalized that we can only focus on football and during football season, we can only focus on basketball when it's the only thing on. If they joining in now in the basketball season, you look at like the bracketology from Joe Lunardi that has 4 teams from the ACC, even projected to be in the bracket. You've only got one in the top 25, and that's Duke at the very, very top. It is a very strange year, but here's the thing, the teams that we've talked about with Florida State and Virginia, at least they have leadership that you believe in. Like Leonard Hamilton and Tony Bennett, 2 of the greatest coaches, in ACC history, basically. You feel pretty good about this, the competition rising as the season goes along.
Well, and I do think that's such a big story for the next few years for both Carolina and Duke, because certainly you're talking about replacing legends at both places in Roy Williams and in Mike Krzyzewski. You're talking about replacing them with guys who have never been head coaches before. So not only are you, in the case of Carolina, you're Hubert Davis. In the case of Duke, you're John Shire. Not only are you becoming a head coach for the first time, not only are you becoming a head coach for the first time at a place that expects to win at a high level every single year, but you're becoming a head coach for the first time at a place that expects to win at a high level every single year, and you're following Hall of Fame head coaches. Those are incredibly difficult situations to step into. And so how Hubert Davis and John Shire, and of course both Carolina with Coach Davis and I'm sure Duke with John Shire, are confident in those guys, but it's still going to take some learning, and it'll take a learning curve, and there'll be some bumps because that's just how it works. And they're not the only ones. Those 2 are the 2 that are going to be in front of us in this immediate future. But at some point, Jim Boeheim's not going to be at Syracuse. At some point, Leonard Hamilton's not going to be at Florida State. At some point, Jim Larrañaga is not going to be at Miami. These are established coaches that have won at a high level for a long time, to varying degrees. I'm not trying to say all 5 of those guys, for example, are on the same plane, because I think we understand that they're not, but they're all really good coaches that have been doing it for a long time. And so how do they get replaced, and how do the guys who follow them handle that transition? That is not easy. And so there's a big transition period that has started, I think, in the ACC with Coach Williams, and will continue here over the next several years as some of these really high-level coaches move on to the next phase of their life and their career, and some new guys come in some big jobs.
Jones Angell, voice of the North Carolina Tar Heels. You can hear him right here on ESPN Asheville all season long. We will have the next broadcast coming up for you on Saturday. Pre-game start at 12 o'clock, right? Tip-off at 1 o'clock against the Virginia Cavaliers at the Dean Dome.
That's right, Tank. Looking forward to it. Great to be with you again. Again, hope everybody had a wonderful and safe holiday, and we'll talk to you next week.
We hope you did as well, brother, and we will see you next week right here on ESPN Asheville for Tar Heel time with the voice of the North Carolina Tar Heels, Jones Angell. Coming up next, Jeremy's going to tell me why I'm crazy about believing that Zion is on his way to bust category here on ESPN Asheville.
This is your Exergent Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Winter storm warnings above 3,500 feet for tonight and early Friday morning, and winter weather advisories in effect below 3,500 feet. Talking some 2 to 4 inches of snow with 5 inches above 5,000 feet. Light glazing of ice also possible, and gusty wind. 16 tonight as a storm system rakes western North Carolina. Early 22 has been a tough start to winter weather. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic is slow, 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and Montford Avenue. Sardis Road northbound is slow between Brevard Road and the Smoky Park Highway. On the Smoky Park Highway, a few light delays northbound approaching Sand Hill Road. Patton Avenue near New Leicester Highway seeing some delays. Sweeten Creek Road, north and southbound approaching Mills Gap Road is slow. Hendersonville Road moving well. On the Charlotte Highway, no backups. I'm Lyndon Field with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Allstate. Looking to save money this year? Look at Allstate. You can get the protection you need at the low rate you want. With Allstate, you can lower your rates, not your expectations. Visit allstate.com or call an agent for a quote today.
Hey, it's Tank Spencer, host of the Sportsocracy. It's a new year, and Jeremy and I are taking on a new challenge. We're teaming up with PhD Weight Loss to get healthier in 2022.
When the opportunity presented itself with PhD, Tank and I knew we could stand to lose a few pounds.
A few, really?
Okay, it's a lot. Our combined weight loss goal is 200 pounds. But when we sat down with Dr. Ashley Lucas, she told us just how attainable those goals could be. During our initial consultation, we were impressed by her enthusiasm for our success. And the biggest upside is the convenience.
This plan is so easy it can fit into the most hectic of schedules. They even have an option where you can do the program 100% over the phone. I've tried numerous diet plans and lifestyle changes, but I've never found one that's this simple. I mean, PhD gives you 80% of the food and the pathway to success. In 1 month, I've lost 19 pounds.
And I've lost 16. If your goal is to get healthier in the new year, join us on our PhD transformation.
Go to myphdweightloss.com. That's myphdweightloss.com.
It's the year-end event at Mattress Warehouse. Save up to $700. Get a free box spring on select mattresses, plus get free next-day delivery on all orders over $7.99. Start the year off right. Visit sleephappens.com to find a Mattress Warehouse location near you.
Has this ever happened to you? My friend was telling me about his new pair of headphones, so I looked them up online. Now, everywhere I go is a creepy ad for those headphones I looked at one time. I hate that feeling like I'm being watched. I got DuckDuckGo and saw a difference right away. With one download, you can search and browse privately, avoiding trackers, all for free. It's that simple. Take back your privacy online with DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
Taco Bell presents a get-out-of-bedtime story. It's time to wake up from this amazing dream, even though you're jet skiing on lemonade. How extreme! And oh, look at that, you just won the lottery. Is that a castle? Take the keys, it's your property. What's better than swimming in space? Just wait for the big reveal. It's Taco Bell breakfast and it's actually real. So it's time to wake up and bid your dreams farewell. Because toasted breakfast burritos are waiting for you, only at Taco Bell. At participating Taco Bell locations near you during breakfast hours only.
Real estate isn't about properties, it's about people. I'm Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty, your native realtor serving all of Western North Carolina. I will work hard for you, and I believe in doing the right thing every time. I market each of my listings to reach out-of-town buyers. I use a professional photographer and drone video on every single listing, as well as collaborate with agents across the country to find your buyer. Check me out online at clarissasellswnc.com or give me a call at 828-774-6343. It would be my pleasure to assist you through the real estate process.
Sometimes it's the little victories that mean the most. At Ingalls, we know there's no one you'd rather share those miniature memorable moments with than family. Ingalls, all the ingredients for family.
This week at Ingalls, select sizes and varieties Cheez-It crackers, 2 for $6. Select sizes and varieties Dunkin' Bag or K-Cup coffee, $4.98 each. And select sizes and varieties General Mills cereal, 2 for $5. Ingalls, low prices, love the savings.
The Sportsocracy.
Gets the rebound, passes it to the man, shoots it, and boom goes the dynamite.
It's ESPN Asheville. I'm Tank Spencer, Jeremy Greene alongside. And, of course, we got to talk about Zion Williamson. What is happening with Zion? So he had to have, the medical procedure in the offseason, and he has yet to return. Like they originally said he's going to be back before the start of the season. The recovery hasn't gone the way that anybody wanted it to. And there have been reports in the last few days of where is Zion? Why is Zion not back? What's taking so long for Zion to come back? And it's got me thinking, has he ruined this already?
Stop.
What?
That might be the most asinine thing I've ever heard you say.
Have you seen him lately? We've made fun of him on this program.
Uh-huh.
He looks like he could be playing defensive line for the New Orleans Saints.
He has certainly gained some weight.
So what makes you believe that anybody is interested in doing anything with him? Because I asked this question to Jeremy before the show today of if he was offered up at this point, is there anybody in the league? Is there any team that would jump all in and just give you the farm to have Zion Williamson? Because it hasn't gone very well. I mean, he's played 85 games with the New Orleans Pelicans, and I get when he's on the floor, his plus minuses and all that kind of stuff are astronomical. Mm-hmm. He's an all-star player, or was when he was on the court, but now he hasn't been around for a long time. He's blowed up bigger than a defensive lineman, and what? Why would I want that?
Do you remember when James Harden looked like he was wearing a fat suit in Houston?
Uh-huh.
That's exactly what this is. Zion Williamson, when he's been on the floor, has been fantastic. Averages over 25 points a game, 7 rebounds a game. You asked me, is there any team that would be willing to sell the farm?
Yeah.
Sell the farm is probably extravagant.
Okay.
Dumb that down. Is there any team in the league that would be interested? I would argue there's probably not a team in the league that wouldn't be.
Okay.
I would say every team in the NBA would be fielding that call, and New Orleans won't do it. And be really honest with yourself. If you're Zion Williamson, why would you be in a rush to come back? To go play with Devontae Graham and Brandon Ingram and Giannis Valanciunas on quite possibly the worst defensive team I've ever seen?
But is it going to get any better with him?
So I told you 3 of the 5 starters. Can you name me the other 2?
No.
Josh Hart and Herbert Jones.
Nice.
I thought Herbert Jones was a character on Family Guy, but
was that his last name?
I have no idea.
Oh, okay.
I mean, why would you be in a rush? There are 3 teams in the NBA that are worse than this Pelicans team by record exclusively.
Mm-hmm. But what's he going to do? How long
wait it out?
Just wait it out? Just not show up and not be doing apparently any kind of monitoring of his health while he's gone?
He would be back in shape in a week.
You think so?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely, I do. And he'll end up getting his way. We've been saying this since last offseason. We've been saying this since before the last season ended. Of it's getting ugly in New Orleans and nobody wants to talk about it. And this is a guy that has immense control over what happens. He would be the first high-end superstar to turn down the extension. It's not going to happen, but it's not going to happen in New Orleans, and they know that.
No.
Now the question is, what could you get for him? I'll be honest with you. I think the price starts at a player and 2 ones, and that player better be real good.
Ooh. It just feels like a steep price to pay for a guy who, I mean, I had questions about him coming out anyway. Of is he going to be able to manage his weight at the next level? Are his knees going to hold out? And we've already seen him be injured. And now with the way that this has been handled, and I'm not saying that I have any inside information that Zion hasn't been doing what he's supposed to do, and he's just been sitting on the couch eating potato chips and whatever. I'm not casting those aspersions. I'm just saying it doesn't look good. And the fact that there has been reports of spotty communication between him and the team, it causes a lot of issues. And I just don't know why a team would want to sign up for that.
Because he is a rare talent. Rare. I mean, there are not. All right, be honest with yourself. Take health out of it. How many young players in this league would you rather have than Zion Williamson?
I'd say 3 or 4.
There you go.
If that.
And he's not even 22 years old.
Right.
Yet.
I mean, you got Luka. I'd rather have Trae Young.
Ja Morant.
I'd rather have Ja. I thought Ja should have been the number 1 pick that year anyway.
I still don't agree with that.
Really?
No.
You don't think Memphis is happier today?
Memphis is fine.
Than they would have been if Zion had fell to them and you got this scenario going on.
But you wouldn't have had this scenario in Memphis. Memphis is a coherent team.
Does that not
the New Orleans Pelicans are not.
But does that not say something about Zion, though? That he would go out and bust tail and play for a team that he knows can be decent.
This has nothing to do with the fact that they're a contender. That's not what I'm trying to say.
Oh, okay.
It's that this team is completely inept. Lonzo Ball, you run him down for an entire year.
Mm-hmm.
He was a free agent for about the time it took me to eat a candy bar in the break while you're in between Jones Angel and now.
Right.
You let him go, and now look at the Bulls. They have absolutely no propensity to hold on to talent.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing happened with Anthony Davis. The only difference between the Anthony Davis thing and Zion Williamson, I could argue Anthony Davis way more injury prone, and Zion got hefty, and we saw it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only difference. Anthony Davis was tired of this too. Why in the NBA would you want to play in a small market? And yes, before anybody says it, New Orleans is a small market, and it's not even close.
Of course it is. I think we all know that.
You'd be shocked. A lot of people get really antsy when I call things small markets. In spite of the fact they are.
Right, there are clear delineations. Yeah, there are clear delineations between the big market teams and the smaller market teams. Charlotte's a smaller market.
Mm-hmm.
New Orleans is a smaller market. Oklahoma City, Sacramento, all of these fall into the smaller market category. Utah, another one. I don't know. I mean, I'm not trying to put dirt on the dude's career at this moment. I'm just saying, if I'm a team, I don't know if I want to put up with that. But there again, he does have a great upside.
The New York Knicks would give everything not named R.J. Barrett.
Which is the only thing that New Orleans actually wants.
Probably.
Yeah. Then I don't know. We shall see. It's just odd to me that it's been this long and he's looked that out of shape. And he's still in high demand.
In fairness, you've only seen him twice. Mm-hmm. He's only been seen in public twice.
Oh, I get it.
At this point, he could be in shape. You'd have no idea because nobody's seen him in 2 weeks.
How fat is he? It depends on how many cameras are on him, I guess.
On the weird scale, there's Vegas, there's Florida, and there's Asheville. Let's get weird, Asheville.
Well, when I see a bird story, I have to tell a bird story.
Hashtag birds aren't real.
It's another one of the flying menaces of the world.
Government surveillance drone.
That Jeremy, this is now something that I think, Jeremy, you might be able to use in your campaign here to try to tell everybody that birds aren't real.
Hashtag birds aren't real.
Because they have figured out that, do you know what a grackle is?
It sounds terrifying. Does it have wings and can it fly?
Yes.
Yep, I'm out.
Yes.
You lost me at grackle.
A grackle is it's a black bird that looks like a crow, but it's like crows are twice as big as the grackles. Grackles are often confused for crows.
So it's a much more agile, mobile crow
death machine. Yeah.
Death machine of government surveillance and
well, there's a story in Austin, Texas this week about how there is a massive swarm of grackles that has showed up in the city. And
Is it grackles?
Grackles. It's like crackle with a G. Grackle.
Grackle.
Yeah. So the grackles have shown up in Austin, and there are videos of streets that are just basically paved. Like the sides of the roads on the power lines are just paved with these grackles. Thousands and thousands and thousands of grackles that, they show up in urban areas and they will, feast on whatever trash or whatever is laying around. That's not the part that scares me the most. It would scare you the most to go outside of a store in Austin, Texas and just see thousands of birds waiting on you. Much worse than it happens here.
I live in the store now. Yeah, no doubt. I now live in the store.
But they have a distinct characteristic that might prove Jeremy's theory that they're not actually real. Grackles apparently have eyes that move independent of each other. So scientists have gone and they can give the grackle photo. So they got the eyes on the side of their head, and you can show them a photo on the left side, show them a photo on the right side. And you can move them up and down that don't match the movements, and their eyes will follow it. So, like, the left eye will go up while the right eye goes down. and vice versa. That sounds very drony to me. That sounds very video
100%.
camera-y to me.
I'll bet you people around this store where there are thousands of grackle, I bet their Alexa can tell them what they were talking about for their Amazon shopping list.
According to scientists, grackles are the only bird that we know of that can do this. Independently moving eyeballs so they can see everything all at once and focus on two things at the same time. That is frightening.
I don't like any of that. I'll tell you another thing that I don't like. The weird furniture that is donated to thrift stores.
Okay.
And this story gives me another reason to be very leery of it.
Weird furniture, all right.
A thrift store in Colorado received a recliner. It was a used recliner from a family in Colorado. It shows up at their donation booth. They go to clean it out to get it ready to sell it in the thrift store. Totally understand why people do these things, but chairs are kind of like clothes. Anything that's been that close to your I do not need it in my home. Anyway, they go to clean out the chair. They're doing the zero res or whatever thing where they clean it and they make everything nice so they can resell it. And they discovered an unwelcome guest in the chair.
Okay.
There was a cat.
In the chair.
It was stuck in the chair. It couldn't get out of the chair. Apparently, whenever the family, which is unnamed in this story, went to move the chair, apparently old Puss here decided it was scared and hid in the chair. Well, the only problem is that when they closed the chair, the mechanism contained the cat.
Oh, no.
Well, and nobody checked on Fluffy before they went to the Goodwill, and they took Fluffy with the chair.
And the cat just never made a noise?
And the cat's just in there like, I don't know what's happening right now. I am going full Ralph Wiggum. I'm in danger. I don't like any of this. They opened the chair. They procured the cat. They then checked its the chip, the microchip that's in the cat,
right,
and reunited it with the family that had donated it.
Wonderful.
And knowing cats the way I do, I would wager that as soon as this family closes their eyes, they're going to get clawed aggressively
for trying to give me away with the musty old chair that sat in the corner.
Yes, you tried to give me away with the gross chair that's been here since 1987, and you gave away Mr. Kitty Cat.
Once again, this is the reason why I am a dog person. Because there would not be a dog that just climbs up into a chair and then this is cool with you, closing them up in there, taking a little nap, a little siesta inside the chair.
Hashtag cats aren't real.
Ugh. I had a cat do that to my truck one time. Climbed up inside the engine. And then when I started the engine, you can imagine what happened to the cat.
That's a horrible story. That is the top 5 worst stories you ever told on this show.
I'm sorry, cats hide in weird places. That's the only point. That's the only point I was trying to make there.
I don't know what to do with that. I just feel like we need to move on. I also am weirded out that we don't ever tell each other our weird news stories, but somehow they always sync up.
Yeah,
you tell an animal story,
animals,
I do. You tell a crime story, I do. Yours happens in Florida. Okay, that's not that weird because most of the weird things that happened in Florida.
Yeah. And mine was in Texas, by the way. Austin is in Texas.
Mine wasn't in Florida. Mine was in Colorado. I was talking about overreaching thought here. I'm not talking about this specific story.
I got you. If you're looking to get healthier for 2022, like Jeremy and I are, then we recommend that you check out PhD Weight Loss, the weight loss program that has been engineered by Dr. Ashley Lucas. And you know what? You can get involved in this program and not have to even leave your house. The PhD Weight Loss program is all about teaching you how to be healthier. Jeremy and I have a goal of losing 200 pounds on this program over the coming months. And so far, since Thanksgiving, I've lost 21 pounds. Jeremy, you've been doing pretty well as well.
I'm at 18. I've lost 18 pounds on the plan. And above all else, what the plan has taught me is you have to eat.
Yeah.
And having somebody to coach me through when things are supposed to happen to get you into fat burn has been a tremendous help to me.
Right.
And it's convenient. Above all other things, I'm a person that is whatever's the most convenient. That's how I got into this problem, because usually the most convenient thing is the worst for you. That's not the case with this. Between the array of foods that they have to encourage your weight loss goal, this is the perfect plan to achieve your goals in 2022.
Not only is it convenient, but they give you all the support you could ever need in your journey. These people believe more in me than I believe in myself. And that's something that I'm having to deal with. And they're there to help me talk through it with them, to get myself in the right mindset to be healthier in 2022, not only for myself, not only for the life of this program, but for my children as well. I want to set that example for them. You can get on the weight loss journey as well. If you have a change to make in 2022, just go check them out. MyPhDWeightLoss.com. MyPhDWeightLoss.com. Jeremy, you got more money to give away?
I do. Last night went, hey, thanks Texas Tech for covering in a game that you had no business covering in.
It is that time. Jeremy's got 5 on it.
If you started on this little journey with me 2 days ago, you had $500 in your bankroll. As of right now, if you had followed all of my tips, you would have $586.36 in your BetUs.com account. That is $86 in just 2 days. All you have to do, take the picks that I give you, take them to BetUs.com, start your account, use the promo code Sportsocracy. They'll give you 125 free play tokens, 125% free play depending on how much you deposit. You put in $100. Actually, you know what? Let's use the 500 that we're doing for this. All you got to do, put in 200 of your own U.S. doll hairs. They will give you 250 U.S. doll hairs. That's 125%. Math.
Good for you.
There you go. Education. It happens. West Virginia. Tonight, I have 3 picks. The first 2 are $25 picks. Colorado is a 1.5-point favorite at home against Washington State. This number does not make a whole lot of sense to me. This Colorado team is pretty good. They're not world-beating, but I had this line before I saw it at 7. Washington State's just not very good. You know, I know they've done some fun things. I don't care. Colorado's the better team. Give me Colorado minus the 1.5. USC is a 5.5-point favorite at Cal. This is one of those times that people in Vegas are overvaluing where this game is. USC, undefeated. Best team in the Pac-12, not even vaguely close. And Cal falls in somewhere in the bottom 4 of that. This is a 10-point miss to me. I had this at 15 solid points. Anytime you miss that much, it's going to be one of the ones I give you. 25 on USC minus the 5.5, 25 on Colorado minus the 1.5, and just keeping with the tradition of college basketball games, because if it ain't broke, why would you fix it? Wisconsin's a 2.5-point favorite tonight against Iowa. There is one big difference between these two teams, and his name is Jordan Davis. Iowa lost a lot. Wisconsin lost a lot. They're still figuring things out. They're both better than I think any of us could possibly have thought they were. Wisconsin has Jordan Davis, who's coming off a 37-point output the other night. Best player on the court, not even vaguely close. Not enough points. Give me Wisconsin minus the 2.5.
Jeremy looking to break across the $100 profit mark tonight. He's already up to $86. Won in the last 2 days here on the I Got 5 on it segment. And don't forget, you can take your wagers to betus.com, betus.com. Use the promo code Sportsocracy and get that 125% deposit bonus. Hey, you know what time it is, Jeremy?
What's that?
It's snack time. It's time for something to chew on. Here's Caleb Pick.
Well, I think Caleb made a really good point. He said, look, the only way I can talk to other schools is to put my name in the portal. He said things have changed. You know, the coach, Lincoln Riley, that was there with him, recruited him, is gone, and now he wants to reevaluate things. But you can only do that if you put your name in the portal. The problem is the moment you put your name in the portal, your school can withdraw your scholarship. You know, they need to change this rule so that players at least have a week or 2 weeks once they put their name in the portal to explore and then come back if they want. Caleb Williams' dad says he might come back to Oklahoma, but that's only going to happen if Oklahoma says we're not pulling your scholarship.
This is Chew on That, brought to you by Ingles Markets. Low prices, love the savings. I'm Caleb Peak, and first, it was Spencer Rattler, switching his upperclassman eligibility to Shane Beamer in South Carolina. I get it. I really do. There's some name recognition with the Beamer bloodline. Lincoln Riley was out like a light at Oklahoma, and he'd just been totally overshadowed for most of the season by an upstart freshman. Maybe it's time for a new beginning for Mr. Rattler. But what about when that upstart freshman tosses his name into the portal too? He was the first true freshman in Sooner history to throw for 6 touchdowns in one game. He saved Oklahoma from disaster in the Red River rivalry with 212 yards through the air and a pair of scores. He undoubtedly would have complete control of whatever locker room Brent Venables puts together this fall in Norman. But that's not what any of this is about. Now Caleb Williams might be out, and unlike Lincoln Riley, whose divorce with Oklahoma was sudden and clean, Williams says he just wants to venture outside the relationship to see what else is out there. I mean, this is literally like some guy telling his wife he doesn't even bother to come up with a cover story or anything. He's just straight up about it. Hey, I'm going out to the bar to see if I can find someone better than you, and if I don't, I'll be back later. The truly funny thing here is that Caleb Williams expects the porch light to still be on when and if he comes back home. I know Brent Venables is a classy character, but hell hath no fury like the wrong head coach scored. On its face, it's a selfish move by Caleb Williams to keep an entire football program in limbo while he does everything but decommit. Without Williams, Oklahoma's next best option under center, at least right now, is Dylan Gabriel, a junior transfer from Central Florida who flipped his allegiance from UCLA hours after the Williams news broke. But if you look closely, this whole thing feels like what could be a massive tampering case in just about any other organized sport. And if a whole lot of illegal search and seizure laws were violated, like the phone records of student athletes, I think you'd find that the real backroom deals are happening at the atomic level of the NCAA, the players themselves. There's an article from last May by ESPN's Alex Scarborough titled "Tampering Has Arrived in College Football, and It Looks Like NBA Free Agency." It's a long read, but a good one if you're interested in cutting through the glitz and glamour that the NCAA promotes to get down to the filthy coal that fuels the whole machine. Some of it goes far beyond the Wild West that is NBA free agency periods. Mac Brown offered up this gem of a quote: "You play a team now and you don't go shake the coach's hand on the other side. You go shake the great tight end's hand. Hey, you look great, man. Oh man, we should have recruited you. Wish you were here. Well, now he can be," end quote. Rumors of transfer departments are swirling at the Power 5 level, where programs will dedicate entire arms of the recruiting wing to studying and eventually scalping players from FCS and other talent-starved FBS schools. See Dylan Gabriel, for example. College coaches are contacting players' high school mentors to get the word out that an open scholarship exists for them. But one of the most prevalent and hardest to detect methods of recruitment is simple player-to-player contact, which I believe is exactly what brought Caleb Williams to the point he's at today. Caleb Williams was no scrub coming out of high school. In fact, he was the #1 high school quarterback on the board in 2019. This is a kid who won his high school conference title on a Hail Mary. But most importantly, he was the MVP of the Elite 11 Quarterback Challenge in 2020, which only broadened his national network of contacts, from future competition at quarterback to astounded skills positions who would love nothing more than to run routes for a strong-armed passer like that. Gone are the days of telling your mom to get off the phone so you can use the line in your bedroom. Now, all of these elite players have each other's numbers, or Snapchats, or Instagrams, or whatever method of communication they choose, and communication between these top-level players isn't just inevitable, it's happening as we speak. Because, think about it, in a financially driven world where teens and the youngest of adults are being given greater and greater freedom to chart their own course with less and less guidance coming from above, whose voices are going to be loudest in their ears? For some, I'm sure it's their parents, but for an increasing majority, the most influential people in their lives aren't their coaches, parents, or classmates, but their co-players, their teammates. In this new world where everything that for decades has been dominated by the heavy hand of the NCAA but is now shifting into the players' hands, where every student athlete is increasingly in firm control of his or her own destiny, maybe it's wise for Caleb Williams to play his cards close to his chest for a while. Maybe it's not in his best interest to make any commitments that could potentially take him off of another program's shortlist. Williams doesn't need to find somewhere to build a dynasty, not in this environment. He's draft eligible in 2 seasons, and it's chapter 5,000 in a book called Why the NCAA as We Know It is Dying. I'm Caleb Peak. That's something to chew on.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic is slow, 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and Montford Avenue. Smoky Park Highway, no incidents. Patton Avenue moving problem-free. New Leicester Highway, no delays. Biltmore Avenue, no problems. And Merriman Avenue moving well. On the Charlotte Highway, no backups. And Tunnel Road moving well. Hendersonville Road, no backups. Sweeten Creek Road southbound is slow after the Blue Ridge Parkway to Mills Gap Road. Checking the drive time from Swannanoa to Asheville via 40 westbound and 240 westbound. Drive time 18 minutes. I'm Lyndon Field with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Mattress Warehouse's Clean Shop Promise. Every year, 6.4 million tons of plastic are dumped into our oceans. Mattress Warehouse wants to fix that with the Beauty Rest Harmony line. Each mattress uses 50 recycled bottles. Plus, the sustainable fabrics feature premium quality and comfort standard of Beauty Rest. Try it at Mattress Warehouse.
Are you 55 or older and haven't had a colonoscopy? Join a colon cancer screening study and you could earn up to $575.
I'll screen.
It's a study for a non-invasive way to screen for colon cancer from home. By joining, you can help advance the science of screening.
I'll screen too.
You'll just need to provide a stool sample, and a colonoscopy will be done through your own insurance. Enroll now and screen to help create a better future for all.
I'll screen.
I'll screen. Let's all screen for colon cancer.
Visit screeningstudy.com to sign up or learn more. That's screeningstudy.com.
I stay very active. For my 40th birthday, I ran a 50-mile race, and to train for that, I was running about 70 miles a week. But over the years, that's deteriorated to a point where even running a mile, my knee would swell, and the pain that I would have would sideline me for several days.
That's Shane Mosney's story that led him to QC Kinetics.
I elected to choose a combination regenerative therapy that helps my knee regenerate to a point where I'm able to get out and start running again. But more importantly, I left there with a lot of hope.
QC Kinetics natural biologic treatments boost your own body's ability to restore and repair damaged tissue with no drugs, no downtime, and no surgery.
Those guys have given me back a part of my life that was deteriorating. I just ran my first 10K since my therapy, so I'm trying to pick a good half marathon to run, but my goal is to run another marathon, yes.
Call QC Kinetics, 828-333-9517. That's 828-333-9517. QC Kinetics. 333-9517.
Looking to save money this year? Look at Allstate. You can get the protection you need at the low rate you want. With Allstate, you can lower your rates, not your expectations. Visit allstate.com or call an agent for a quote today.
Why does Walgreens offer copays as low as $0 and 90-day refills? Because we care about Medicare, so you don't have to. I mean, do you really care to hear me go on about same-day prescription delivery making your life easier? Or how there's a pharmacy expert available 24/7 and one-click refills? Well, I just did anyways. Fill your Medicare prescriptions with Walgreens and save.
$0 copays apply to Tier 1 generic drugs and select plans with Walgreens as a preferred pharmacy. Restrictions apply. See walgreens.com/Medicare for complete details.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community, one that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at roguecombatclub.com. Here in Beer City, we take homegrown seriously. And since 2012, Wicked Weed Brewing has been pushing the boundaries of the industry. They've not only created staples like the Freak of Nature Double IPA, the Lieutenant Dank, and Pernicious, but they also opened the first sour beer tap room on the East Coast. Wicked Weed has also supported our local community to the tune of $1.6 million with the Beers That Build program. Visit one of their 4 locations, schedule a brewery tour, or place an order for pickup or delivery. WickedWeedBrewing.com.
Dirty perky shark back flat. I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take this anymore. Shark back flat.
Let the hate flow through you.
Maybe you were one of many that didn't know who Hub Arkish was 48 hours ago.
I didn't.
I guarantee you do now. I knew who he was because he's been in Chicago for, I think, as long as I've been alive. He is a football reporter for 670 The Score in Chicago. Been a Chicago beat writer, done all kinds of things in this market, in this platform. And he knows better than what he said just 24 hours ago. Basically what he said was, I'm not voting for Aaron Rodgers for MVP because he's unvaccinated. I simplified that, but that's actually what you said. You can't. His exact quote was, "You can't be the most valuable when you're this selfish and do something to your team." He went out yesterday and said, and I quote, "It's on me. I screwed up. All you can do is own it, and I own it." And I'll give him credit for that, except for the fact he kept talking and doubled down on what he said. I'm still not going to vote for him. Aaron Rodgers called him a bum and said, apparently this year the award is the most valuable vaccinated player. I have no issue with your criteria for picking the MVP, because when they give you the ballot for this, there are 50 votes for the MVP. So they're very selective about who they give this to. I'd love to have one. And you know what I wouldn't put into it? Whether somebody was vaccinated or not.
Right.
And then you get into these hypotheticals of, well, what if this had come down to the Chiefs game? But it didn't. It didn't. The thing about awards in football that have always distanced themselves from awards in other sports is we don't take things like this into account. It doesn't matter. Most valuable player. If you don't want to vote for Aaron Rodgers, more power to you. You could give me an excuse to vote for Tom Brady, Jonathan Taylor, several other players. But if that's what it is, you don't deserve a vote, and you basically just came out and told me that out loud. It's a bad look for the NFL, and it's a bad look for Hub Arkish. I'm mad.
Hub Arkish. He is a bum. He is a bum because to me, you don't base your vote on that. You do not base your vote on the your personal proclivities. It's just this is something you don't do. I get the Hall of Fame vote. Like people say, "Oh, we do this with the Hall of Fame all the time." I understand that,
and it's stupid. It's one of the reasons that people like me don't pay attention to baseball, because you keep doing these stupid things like there's somebody out there that doesn't vote for Ken Griffey Jr. to get into the Baseball Hall of Fame the first time.
Right.
And every year we have to have this stupid talk about, should Barry Bonds be a Hall of Famer? Can you tell the story of baseball without him? There's your answer. I don't care what he did. I don't care what he did before it, after it, in between, hop up and down. I don't care. That is what differentiates the NFL, one of many things that differentiates the NFL from every other sport. You can't call the voting into question. You can't do things like this. And somebody that's been in this sport this long should know better than that.
Absolutely. You should know better than that. There is no Thursday night football this week, so tonight your watching just has to be all centered around basketball. And why not win some money while you're doing it?
2 sets of picks now. 2 hours. 2 gambling segments. First one, Greene on Greene. Warriors -2.5, even without Steph Curry and Draymond Green tonight at the New Orleans Pelicans. Celtics -1.5 at the New York Knicks. Memphis Grizzlies -12.5 against the Detroit Pistons. If you were to parlay those together at betus.com, you could take $10 and turn it into $60 using our promo code SPORTSOCRACY to get a 125% deposit match. If you're looking for I got 5 on it picks, 3 of them college basketball, 2 $25 plays, USC -5.5 at Cal, Colorado -1.5 against Washington State, and the big play of the night, the Wisconsin Badgers -2.5 against Iowa.
You are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. We'll be back with you tomorrow at 3 o'clock. We will play Beat the Chief with Asheville Police Chief David Zach. Jeremy's the reigning champion from last week.
Woo!
He's still got a ways to go to make up the difference to win the season here. So we'll make our picks tomorrow right here on ESPN Asheville. Stick with us on the YouTube channel. We got the uncensored third hour, the happy hour, coming up next.
This is your Exergent Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Winter storm warnings above 3,500 feet for tonight and early Friday morning, and winter weather advisories in effect below 3,500 feet. Talking some 2 to 4 inches of snow with 5 inches above 5,000 feet. Light glazing of ice also possible, and gusty wind. 16 tonight as a storm system rakes western North Carolina. Early 22 has been a tough start to winter weather. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This report is sponsored by Allstate. Looking to save money this year? Look at Allstate. You can get the protection you need at the low rate you want. With Allstate, you can lower your rates, not your expectations. Visit allstate.com or call an agent for a quote today.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic is slow, 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and Montford Avenue. Smoky Park Highway, no incidents. Patton Avenue moving problem-free. New Leicester Highway, no delays. Biltmore Avenue, no problems. And Merriman Avenue moving well. On the Charlotte Highway, no backups. And Tunnel Road moving well. Hendersonville Road, no backup. Sweeten Creek Road southbound is slow after the Blue Ridge Parkway to Mills Gap Road. Checking the drive time from Swannanoa to Asheville via 40 westbound and 240 westbound. Drive time 18 minutes. I'm Lynn Benfield with your Time Saver traffic.
This report is sponsored by Tyson Furniture.
Find comfort in this world in the stressless and make others more comfortable as well. Right now, when you donate $50 to charity, Tyson Furniture in Black Mountain will give you $200 off any stressless seating. Make a donation and get absolute comfort in return at Tyson Furniture, where beautiful homes begin.
From the Ingalls Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart Radio Station.
The following program is intended for mature audiences.
A democratic republic of sports. The Sportsocracy with ESPN Asheville hosts Tank Spencer and Jeremy Greene.
And welcome back in to the Sportsocracy here in the Wicked Weed studio, wickedweedbrewing.com. Drink different. It's a Threadbare Thursday. Anything and everything you want talked about, anything from the previous 2 hours that we need to discuss in more blue terms.
Jason Trump asked in the comments, what's the happy hour special today? That's happening. That is 100% happening.
Oh, the happy hour special?
Oh, yeah. I'm going to call Wicked Weed when this is done and go, hey, we had a good idea.
Yeah.
We had a smart idea. My go-to is always the dragon fruit happiness. I didn't know that beer's full name. I just call it the Dragon Fruit Wicked Weed Beer, and they go, I know what that is.
It's the Dragon Fruit Watermelon Burst.
Oh,
I think is what it's called. It's a sour beer.
Oh, and I don't even usually like sours, but good gracious, that's good.
It is very, very good. I always lean on Dr. Dank. Apparently, the lieutenant, he went back to the lab during the shutdown, and he has now become Dr. Dank. It's the same great taste, just a little bit of a different name. But they now have a Dr. Dank Hazy that I'm very interested in. Since I have become a quote-unquote beer snob, my friends tell me, because Wicked Weed, that's quote-unquote fancy beer. Yeah.
So there's two Dr. Danks.
There is. That was what I was getting ready to say. I'm really, really interested in the Dr. Dank Hazy, which is a citrus passion fruit IPA. And, there was a time in my life where I'd go, no, I don't want that. Don't put fruit in my beer. But as I've grown older, I've gone, you know what? Beer's actually pretty good with fruit in it.
The fresh pressed with mango, pineapple, and guava wheat. So Will Wheaton.
So yeah, great idea, and we will effort to make that happen. The happy hour special, Wicked Weed beer each and every day. We could do that. They have so many different flavors.
They do. And it's wonderful.
It is. Absolutely wonderful. Check them out at wickedweedbrewing.com. Wicked Weed Brewing. Drink different. I have found, by the way, the game that, if I weren't, cheap as dirt, that I would pay a lot of money to put Jeremy in the middle of the crowd for. And it's the game coming up this weekend in Jacksonville. The Jacksonville Jaguars fans are staging a clown out. You've heard of whiteout, the blackout. This is the clown out, where, all 7 of the Jacksonville Jaguar fans that are going to be there on Sunday.
Sorry, Roy.
They're all going to dress up in clown outfits, making fun of Shad Khan. I had not noticed this, but after Shad Khan said something incredibly stupid the other day, Jacksonville Jaguars fans took to their social media and they started changing their avatars, I guess you call them. Your profile pictures as the clown face emoji with a Shad Khan mustache on it, because he is the biggest clown of all the NFL owners. Trevor Lawrence was asked about this today, and he said, would I do it? No, but I can understand the frustrations of the fan base. Like, that is the perfect PC answer that Trevor Lawrence could have given. Like, I wouldn't make fun of the owner myself, but I understand why you want to. But I could just imagine Jeremy's face as he walks into an entire section of Jacksonville Jaguars fans who are dressed up like clowns.
I'd do better in an aviary.
Kevin Vick, there it is. So they're dressed up like Matt Rule? God. We're going to have to put up with this for another year with you, aren't we?
You have no right to talk about having to put up with something.
What are you talking about?
Give me a minute, I'll tell you.
Fire them cannons. By golly, put more powder in those things.
You have no right to talk about having to put up with something.
All right. I guess that's fair.
Because every time you hit that button, the only thing I can think of is...
Put the bunny back in the box.
Look, we only get to win a Super Bowl every 20 years or so. So you won't have to put up with this for a while. Because, it's not going to happen this year. I've already resigned myself to that.
That's all you should.
Well, it is what it is.
I want to put this Shad Khan clown face over your face.
You have all the capability to do that.
Yeah, I do. My computer's just going real slow.
Oh, no, poor Jeremy.
I'm asking it to do a lot of things.
In the last hour of the radio show, I saw in the comments where someone had said, did the Panthers make a trade for Kirk Cousins?
No, he's talking about the Browns.
Oh.
It was the Browns trading Baker and one for Kirk Cousins.
Oh, no, it was somebody said the Panthers get Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
I'd rather have Sam Darnold.
Eric Miller asked if I could make the Hornets an Eastern Conference Finals team this year at the trade deadline. Ooh, that's a fun game that I've never played before.
Huh.
Talk amongst yourselves.
What would you need to add to the Charlotte Hornets to make them an Eastern Conference Finals team? That's the goal here?
Talk amongst yourselves. Let me play with the trade machine for a minute, okay?
Who could possibly be out there on the wire? No, I don't buy into Minnesota's getting rid of Kirk Cousins. They're going to trade him to Cleveland, and I understand the connection with Kevin Stefanski and Kirk Cousins, but I honestly believe they're not going to be able to do anything with Baker Mayfield. The Cleveland Browns, I think, are stuck with Baker Mayfield. I don't think he's going anywhere. There was a story today that he is, unless he gets certain assurances from the Cleveland Browns that things are going to change, quote unquote, then he might request or think about requesting a trade. It's a lot of couching going on in that report. But who? I mean, who's going to take him?
Baker?
The Houston Texans? The Houston Texans going to make a trade to get Baker Mayfield?
No, Houston's fine with the
quarterback they draft this year.
No, they're not going to draft a quarterback.
You don't think so?
No. By the way, my first 7-round mock draft next week.
7 rounds?
7 round, baby.
Jeez.
7 rounds, baby.
And I thought the 3-round mock draft was bad enough.
7 rounds.
Jeez.
Baby.
Anyway.
7 rounds for every team.
No. Who would be the team that would go out and get Baker Mayfield right now? Denver's got their sights set higher.
There's an New York Giants.
The New York Giants?
There's an answer to this.
You're going to stay, so they're going to keep Daniel Jones around?
The Carolina Panthers are another one, by the way, of having a vet just in case. Because you got to remember, between Baker and Darnold, you'd be quite leveraged. But
yeah.
Still.
Baker's making what next year?
Let's see. Darnold is, how much is Darnold?
18.
So Baker, 2 spots higher, slotted in, you're about 20 and a half.
They pay $38 million for 2 broken quarterbacks. That's
depends on how good you think you are.
I mean, they have all.
Depends on how much better you think that makes you.
Some people. I don't know if this is the thought within the organization, but we have talked to a lot of Carolina Panther fans, or heard from Carolina Panther fans who feel like they're just 1 spot away. We're just one move away from being contenders. I don't buy that. I think you're 5 moves away from being contenders, and all 5 of those spots are on your offensive line. No, excuse me, 4. Taylor Moton. Taylor Moton can stick around. The rest of that, you need 4 starters on that offensive line, because I don't think Brady Christensen is there yet. And who's the other lineman? There were 3 of them that I singled out the other day. It was Brady Christensen, Taylor Moton, Deontay Brown. Those are the 3 that I think are building blocks for the future.
Eric Miller asked me a question of make the Hornets an Eastern Conference Finals team.
Right.
I'm not sure Adam Black didn't answer it for me, but I disagree with what you give up.
Mm-hmm.
He said give up Gordon Hayward for either Miles Turner or Domantas Sabonis. There's no either or there. Stay the whole hell away from Miles Turner. But now Domantas Sabonis?
Mm-hmm.
We're talking. Domantas Sabonis is one of those players that I just look at and go, man, if you played in a market that anybody even kind of cared about.
Right.
He had a triple-double last night, I think. He was like 2 rebounds away going into the 4th quarter. He's so good.
He is so good.
He's so good. Yeah, Kevin Vick said Brady Christensen has been doing a good job. 0 sacks at left tackle. Weird. Hey, Matt Rule, I kind of told you that, I don't know, 18 weeks ago.
Right.
God, I liked Brady Christensen coming up.
Is he a franchise left tackle, though?
No.
See, I think you go.
He can be a starter.
Right. You go out and get one, and he can be the starter at guard.
Yeah, a lot of people liked him at guard. I don't mind him at right tackle.
Mm-hmm.
The problem with Brady Christensen was always he's got short arms. He's a mountain of them. He's got kind of Kenny Pickett disorder. You're a big dude. Little baby heads.
He's a T-Rex.
He got little short arms.
Right.
But, I mean, I saw tackle potential there.
Mm-hmm.
The thing with Carolina is that you have such little draft capital that it's good. All right, this is something that I didn't plan on going into this, so I'm not super prepared to talk about it. But one of the things that the coronavirus year has done, the top of this draft is not great. It's not. And there's really there's no getting around that. Okay. How many elite players do you have in this draft?
I would say 3 or 4.
I'm looking at my big board. Here's my answer. 2 of them. And
Kyle Hamilton.
Yep. And that's one that there is huge dissent on Kyle Hamilton.
Right.
There are a lot of people that do what I do that think he has to play linebacker in the NFL, and I think that is stupid.
Okay, who's the other one?
Kayvon Thibodeau.
Okay.
Aiden Hutchinson, I heard I can't remember what article I was reading now, but there was a scout that basically said the thing about Aiden Hutchinson, he can't bust.
Mm-hmm.
There is no bust there. There is no way that guy's not in this league for 10 years. It's just not there.
Right.
But the chances of him being a home run edge rusher are 10%.
Right. The chances that he becomes the next Bosa or...
If you were grading this in baseball terms, the chances of him being a home run are about 10%. The chances of him being triple are about 20%. And then you got... It's about 70% he's a stand-up double.
I was going to say 90%, but...
Kevin Vick asked, did Fitterer leave us with any picks? Well, you're going to have one, which currently would be at 6. And then you can turn the draft. Well, actually, you know what? Turn on our draft coverage live from Las Vegas.
Well, it's Kevin. You already know that's where he's going to be.
Bingo.
So
it's one of many reasons that we love Kevin Victor. Because then you don't pick again until currently 105.
4th round?
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Not a lot of draft capital, but you do have the chance. You do have the chance to get one of those offensive linemen at the top of the draft. And we still think it's Charles Cross?
I believe so, because in my first mock draft, for those of you that caught our little kerfuffle, you've already heard I haven't taken Evan Neal at 1.
Oh yeah,
and that was spicy when I said it. And now I've heard 2 other people that do what I do say the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, damn it, that was mine.
You got to go. I mean, position of need. That's the number 1 position of need.
And that's going to be one of the weird things about this draft is that you've got very few guys that belong in the top 10. Well, here's the problem: there's still 10 picks in the top 10. I mean, because I'm looking at my big board right now. And in terms of guys that I feel great that go in the top 10, there's 2.
Mm-hmm.
It's Thibodeau and it's Kyle Hamilton. Evan Neal, he's another one that I don't see bust. I think worst case scenario, he goes the Robert Gallery route and ends up being a really good guard. And that's worst case scenario. But that's how guys like Eke Mekwanu from NC State get pushed up in the top 5 of drafts, because you look at him and go, well, the high side on him is really good. You're right, and if you try to play him at left tackle, you're going to look like a dumbass.
Right.
Because he's not a left tackle. That's not what he is.
He's a right tackle.
He's a guard.
Oh, he's a guard.
He's a guard.
Okay.
The tape on him at tackle has been dreadful at NC State because he plays in a phone booth. You can't get him in space.
Mm-hmm.
What does that tell you? See, people hear that and they immediately go, but guards pull. That's not the problem. The problem in space is for a tackle who has to lead and set the edge. He can't do that. He can't do that in the ACC where there were 3 good edge rushers in the entire conference.
Right.
What in the world makes you think he's going to go to the NFL and do that? But that's a guy that I could easily see being taken in the top 10. George Karlaftis, that's another guy I could easily see being taken in the top 10. Should he be? No. And would he have been in any draft in the last 5 years? No. Because he's not that good. I mean, he's good. He's another, I would say his low side's probably a leg out single, and the high side's probably a stand-up double. But other than that, there's no high side there. I don't like the chances of him becoming a huge impact, great edge rusher. But the alternative of that is when you get into the guys that go in the 4th round this year would have been 2nd or 3rd rounders in practically every draft I've ever done. Getting into that meaty 100 to 175 of this draft, every single time I do this, I get into that portion and go, good God, how is he still here?
Right. And this is why you're all jazzed up for your 7-round mock draft.
Oh, God. Reunited and it feels so good. Curtis Davis asked me my thoughts on Roger McCreary. I like him. I do. The size is not great.
This is the corner from Alabama or Auburn, right?
Yeah. The size is not great. He's not the greatest ball hawk you've ever seen, but can he turn into a top 25-ish corner in the league? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that's going to burn him is that corner's one of the best positions in this draft. Derek Stingley, who I am souring on by the minute, he's got some great upside. There are things that terrify me about him. I'll go ahead and tell you, Derek Stingley's not in the top 5 of my 7-round mock draft. There is a corner. It ain't him.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Is it Sauce?
Mm-hmm. And he come to my team.
What made you flip on that? Because you were all about Derek Stingley and Kyle Hamilton, and we could just sew up the secondary for years.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I'm not sure the Jets are going to draft a corner anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And if they do,
shouldn't you?
Well, no. I mean, there are guys that I like. I mean, I like Bryce Hall. I don't know that Bryce Hall will ever be a 1. I think he's an amazing 2.
Mm-hmm.
And Brandon Eccles and Michael Carter, they really addressed this position last year. But the thing that's bothering me about Derek Stingley is that every tape I watch on him, chronologically, he gets worse. Like if he'd come out after his freshman year, he'd been top 5 pick immediately.
Okay.
But then every single time I watch him, he gets worse and worse and worse, and the injury things start to happen. And I've seen this book. I've read this book. That's one of the beauties of getting as far down the rabbit hole as I have into doing this. I've already seen this, and the kid played at the same school. It was Morris Claiborne. I watched this exact same player, and I'm just looking at him going, okay, is he going to play in the league for 10 years? Yeah. Do I think he ever gets to that Pro Bowl top 5 drafted cornerback slot? No. If you told me there's one of this draft, Sauce Gardner's not even close.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not even close. But in terms of, to Curtis Davis's question, Roger McCreary, I have Sauce Gardner at 1. I have Derek Stingley at 2. I have Trent McDuffie at 3 out of Washington, and then Roger McCreary is my 4. Slightly, just fractionally ahead of Andrew Booth, and a pretty decent distance from those guys to Kyrie Irving from Florida.
Mm-hmm.
If you're looking for a corner, this is a great draft to do it because there's about 40 of them in this draft.
Right.
Like Kobe Bryant, who was on the other side of Sauce Gardner.
Who won the Thorpe Award this year.
Yeah, and you can't put too much stock in that. I heard them just wax poetic about Grant Delpit. You got to be careful with that. This is the Jim Thorpe Award, more than pretty much any other award in college football, is one of those that you look at and go, yeah, but that doesn't mean you're the best secondary player.
No, it means you got more opportunities to make plays.
Yeah, and that's because
Sauce was on the other side of him.
Yeah,
right.
So it's more of a stat accumulation position or award.
Award, right.
So,
it's hard to say no to a guy who had 7 interceptions this year.
Yeah, I mean, and I look at Kobe Bryant, and I think he would be a good, decent second corner. I think he would be a really high-end 2 if you have a good slot corner.
Mm-hmm.
A team like, I'm trying to think of somebody else off the top of my head, but the Denver Broncos. Somebody that's got a series of corners, and you can put somebody in the slot. There we go.
Right.
Rob Johnson asked, what do I think of Todd McShay skyrocketing Jamison Williams on his board? I think this is what people do. I really do. Because now the consensus among people that do what I do is Curtis Davis said, perfect, expecting to give him my Chargers. Oh, no. I know exactly who your Chargers are getting, and I can't stop doing it. Can't stop. Every time I do it. It's almost like if you watch somebody doing math and they're like, that can't be right, and they keep doing it, and it comes back in the same, like, shit!
Right.
I'm trying for it not to be that, and it's still that. Now, Roger McCreary might be your secondary pick, because that's more along where I think he goes. But now in terms of what Rob asked me about Todd McShay, this is what happens. People see somebody in Jamison Williams that's borderline uncoverable at Alabama, and they're not thinking about all the other things. They're not thinking about the fact he was at Ohio State and could not get on the field ahead of Smith and Jigba and Olave and Garrett Wilson. They're not thinking about that.
Mm-hmm.
They're looking at, he went to Alabama and he was so great. We also got to look at what else is there. Look at the running game. Look at all the other things. There was an Alabama player that I'm not going to say skyrocketed for me. It just kind of reaffirmed where I already had him. It's Brian Robinson.
Mm-hmm.
Brian Robinson is my number 2 running back in this draft class, and he's number 2 with a bullet. And I got news for you. He could have come out and looked like LaDainian Tomlinson, and I don't think he was passing number 1. So, I mean, I don't have a problem with you having Jamison Williams that high. I mean, I've seen him in mock drafts in the top 10, and I think that is just bonkers. I don't think there's a receiver in this draft that belongs in the top 10.
But again, there are a lot of good ones.
But that's the thing, is that there's a slew that belong from about 15 to 35.
I mean, it's not. I don't think it compares really to last year with all of the receivers that we had last year. But I think it's close.
Defend that. Defend that, because I. What do you mean you think it matches up with last year?
Well, last year we had a lot of good wide receivers.
Did we, though? Did we really, though? I mean, I'm looking at the list. I was just trying to make sure I didn't miss anybody.
Right.
So you had Chase go at 5.
Mm-hmm.
Chase would have been the number 1 receiver in this draft with a bullet.
Mm-hmm.
Jalen Waddle would have been 2.
Mm-hmm.
Then what? Devontae Smith in this draft is about 7 for me. All right, so if you took the receivers from last year and put them in the receiver pool, and I'm doing this totally off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Chase would have been 1, Jalen Waddle would have been 2. For me, Drake London would be 3, Jameson Williams would be 4. Wan'Dale Robinson would probably be 5.
Okay.
Then you get into splitting hairs with Olave, Garrett Wilson, Devontae Smith, Elijah Moore.
Bateman.
Bateman would be just a slight notch below them because
Rondale Moore.
Rondale's right there with Bateman. Kadarius Toney's right there with Bateman.
Mm-hmm.
Jahan Dotson in this year's draft would be right there in that same convocation because to me, Jahan Dotson, and when I do things like that, I'm comparing apples to apples. So I'm not comparing. I'm trying to think of I'm not comparing Drake London to Jahan Dotson because they're not the same player.
Right.
Jahan Dotson is an Elijah Moore clone.
Mm-hmm.
Well, here's the thing. He's not as physical as Elijah Moore. He's not as fast as Elijah Moore. So how am I going to have him ahead of him? Those two guys I can compare directly because they play the exact same position the exact same way.
Right.
I can't have Jahan Dotson ahead of him.
Amonra
was a guy do you know how many receivers went ahead of Amonra St. Brown last year? Just take a guess.
It was 9?
Yeah, you said 16 wrong.
16?
Yeah, here are some of the names that went ahead of him. Dez Fitzpatrick, who I think has as many catches this year as I do.
Mm-hmm.
Amari Rogers, De'Ami Brown, Terrace Marshall, Tutu Atwell, Dwayne Eskridge.
Oh, I forgot about Marshall.
Amonra St. Brown. God, some NFL team. Okay, just give me a freaking job. All right, just give me a job and listen to me for 1 year and just sit back and go, hey, we hired this big dipshit with a big old beard. He looks like he climbed out of the mountains, but man, our draft got good this year.
I still feel like last year was a very, very good wide receiver class. And I feel like this year's is with it.
I would agree.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're close. There's not a high side guy. To me, there's not a Jamar Chase in this draft.
There's not a Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase.
No, you're not going to have a guy
beater.
To me, there's not a receiver in this draft class that's going to win Rookie of the Year. And Jamar Chase going to win it this year. Justin Jefferson should have won it last year.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think you're going to see that. But I think you'll see 10 to 15 be quality, high-end receivers. Patrick no, go ahead.
I was going to say, if you had to pick one guy that you would be willing to place a wager on for Offensive Rookie of the Year next year in the NFL, and it had to be a wide receiver, which wide receiver would it be?
And I have to do this not knowing where they go?
Yes. Just based on the talent, the tape that you've seen.
Drake London with the New England Patriots.
Ooh, okay.
London's going to get pushed down.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just straight up. He's my number 1 receiver. He's my number 1 aggressively.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to get pushed down because there's too much bad tape. And scouts get – here's one of the things you'll find about guys. It's what makes my job easier than being a GM of a franchise. I can say this blindly, and if the guy busts out, I can say, oh, he went to the wrong place. Do I think Jamar Chase would have been as good in any offense as he is in Cincinnati? No, I don't. And I don't think it's even close.
I mean, maybe with the Chargers. But he never would have lasted that long.
No. Man, him and Keenan Allen play the same position. So. Some on my lips drive me nuts.
He's got skin coming off his lips. It's weird.
Drive me crazy.
Very, very weird.
No, it's a beard hair that's stuck in my tooth.
All right. Sorry I interrupted you there. What were you about to transition to?
Patrick Holt asked, hold on, there's been a lot of talk about this. Does cheese belong in a pig in a blanket or just the hot dog?
Just the hot dog.
I don't think there's anything. I don't think there's anything that you can put cheese on that I go, no, that's bullshitsky.
I would agree.
You could put cheese on waffles and I'd go, yep. I think it's weird.
Cheese on waffles. Yeah, that is weird. But
it's weird, but I like where your head's at.
Would you still top it with?
Hell no.
With syrup?
On top of this fucking hair that's sticking on me. Thing's driving me crazy.
You don't. I mean, I wouldn't think you would top a waffle with cheese and then still put syrup on it.
I don't. Here's the thing. I think maple syrup is really overrated.
I would agree with that.
Like, really overrated.
I mean, it's good.
Top 5 condiments.
Top 5 condiments?
Yep, because you're going to leave one out. And
ranch dressing is number 1.
You're drunk. Ranch dressing is in the top. It's in the top 5.
No, it's number 1.
Nah.
It's the most used condiment in America, or in the Southern America.
Yeah, it's not the number 1 most used condiment in any place ever, but okay.
If you're about to say ketchup, you're wrong.
Ketchup is certainly in the top 5.
Extremely overrated.
And is ahead of ranch. And it's not even debatable.
Stop that. Ooh. Barbecue sauce is better than ketchup.
I don't have barbecue sauce in my top 5.
I mean,
I'm just curious what this list is going to look like. Holy shit.
What?
What do you think the most popular condiment is?
Ketchup.
Nope.
Mayonnaise?
That's exactly
mayonnaise.
Right.
See, I left out mayonnaise. Yeah, mayonnaise has got to be number 1. Ranch dressings too.
See, to me, mayonnaise, ketchup, salsa, and A1 sauce all belong ahead of ranch dressing. And yes, salsa is a condiment. It's even in the article I'm sitting here reading, along with sriracha and soy sauce and a bunch of other shit.
I wouldn't think of salsa as a condiment, but okay. I mean,
mustard, without a doubt, the underrated condiment of all of them.
Mustard's the grossest of all of them.
That's because you're gross. No, you're just gross. You're just a gross person.
Pickle relish is higher on the list than mustard.
Relish belongs in one thing, and it's deviled eggs. That's it. And chicken salad.
Hot dogs.
No. Gross.
You'll put relish on a hot dog?
No, gross.
What kind of monster are you?
It's gross. I put jalapenos on a hot dog.
Yeah. I mean, that's good too.
Ends to the same means, but one's gross and one doesn't. Or one's gross and one's not.
Sauerkraut's better than mustard.
Sauerkraut is disgusting. I would literally rather eat this bottle right here than eat sauerkraut.
Yeah. Kevin Vick, I'm starting to be convinced that he's not white. White people love mayonnaise, and Kevin Vick hates it more than anything on the planet, I think.
Second reference to this bottle today. Big ups to our third today. No HWA. The bottle. Stephen Tao said A1 doesn't need to exist. A good steak doesn't need sauce. Okay, that's bullshit. Yeah. All right, I've had Peter Luger steaks that I looked at and went, just a touch of A1 on that would just open up a whole new flavor profile.
Stephen Tao, we agree for the second time today, which is crazy, but Heinz 57 is way better than A1.
People are out of your fucking minds. Just straight up. My wife eats that Heinz 57. Like, I have to buy that.
It's the best.
Every once in a while, I'll go to the grocery store and I had to buy Heinz 57, and a little part of me dies every time I do. Not because it's not good, just because we already have the best steak sauce there could ever possibly be.
From Peter Luger's?
Not well. You can't buy that in stores.
Yeah, you can.
I don't think that counts.
Yes, you can.
And it doesn't taste the same.
Wow.
I've been there, done that, got T-shirts.
Still good. Still real good.
Yeah, that's kind of like...
it's like a mixture of tiger sauce and cocktail sauce. It's kind of got that consistency of tiger sauce, but it's still got the spice of that Peter Luger sauce. I think here in town it's only available at Publix. That's where my wife finds it, and it's wonderful.
And here's the thing: that's the reason I don't know this, because I don't shop at any other grocery store other than Ingles. Low prices, love the savings. Ever, I literally, if there is no Ingles, then I'll go hungry. Like straight up, I'll just go to Bojangles.
Right. I'll spend one millionth of my food budget every year at Publix just to get that Peter Luger sauce.
Something I want to do tomorrow. Top 10 fast food places. Just since we're talking about condiments.
Mm-hmm. Top 10 fast food places.
By the way, this is a food channel that occasionally talks about sports, in case you hadn't noticed that.
Yes. Are we doing this right now, or are we doing fast food restaurants right now? Is that what you're saying?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, that needs some prep, because I got to think about some shit.
Eric Miller, creamy horseradish. That's got to be up there on the list as well. It's not top 5, but it's on the list.
Gross! Horseradish is disgusting.
You don't like horseradish?
What? No. What? They're like... Why? Why? I don't even know what horseradish is, if I was being honest. It's just gross.
It's radishes that are made from horses. It's simple.
That's what I deal with every day.
It says it in the name, horseradish.
Kevin Vick said horseradish tastes like rubbing alcohol smells. Agreed. Don't drink rubbing alcohol. Just because I said that out loud, I have to say, don't do that.
Mm-mm.
Patrick Holt said Taco Bell's number one. Not until they put the damn Mexican pizza back on the menu, they're not. Now, and I've heard that that's coming back. And when it does, we can talk. And Stephen Tao just repeated the same thing I said before it came out of my mouth.
Oh, until they bring the Mexican pizza back. Which I thought it was all because they didn't want to make the flat, crunchy tortilla shells anymore. But that's not true because they still have those for the crunch wraps. So what's the deal?
That's the argument I've made the entire time.
Right.
Okay, everything you have is made with the same 14 things. Don't tell me you can't put this in the order that I want. I can literally deconstruct 3 of your dishes and make what I want.
Yeah.
I just want you to do it for me.
Mm-hmm.
Curtis Davis said Whataburger's better than Wendy's. And
He's
it's not
right.
even close. You're not wrong.
He's absolutely
right. But here's the
right.
thing. We don't have that here.
We don't. You got to drive.
I mean, but first of all, I shall stand for no Wendy's slander because Wendy's has something that nobody else has. And this is the underrated part of the fast food burger argument.
Mm-hmm.
They have vegetables that are actually good. Like their tomato is good. I mean, I'm not sitting here saying it's a greenhouse vine ripe tomato. Right. What I'm saying is it's edible. Like if it falls off your burger and you go, ooh, tomato, and you eat it, you don't go, eating it by itself.
It's not flavorless.
That's actually a good tomato. And the lettuce is crispy.
Uh-huh.
Adam Black said the Wendy's jalapeno popper chicken sandwich is the GOAT. Yeah, I mean, I want to tell you something about that. Because I had one of those right before I got the Rona and I lost my ability to taste things. That's the last thing I tasted. And I'm going to be honest with you, it was slowly stealing my will to live that was the last thing I was ever going to taste because it was so friggin' good that it made losing my taste much less palatable to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
That thing is tremendous.
Stephen Tao, shells, beans, horse meat, lettuce, salsa, sawdust, sauce, bring it back. Mexican pizza, Taco Bell.
Patrick Holt said Arby's if it wasn't so damn expensive. I can't do Arby's.
Mm-hmm.
I can't. I mean, I'll eat it every once in a blue moon.
Right.
But it's so rare.
I got ruined on Taco Bell for a long time because I had a friend that worked there when we were in high school. And she told me that they used grade D meat, and I went,
"Well, the roast beef comes in. The roast beef is like a paste."
No. I'm talking about Taco Bell.
Oh yeah, I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care if those are horse hooves and fish eyes.
Oh, it took me a while. It took me a while to get back into it, but I was like, you know what? I really don't care.
I don't care if you told me that Taco Bell had a new dish and it was made with the door from our old studio. And they ripped up the carpet and used that as the topping, I'd still eat it.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what I'd do? I'd pour Diablo sauce all over that bastard, and it would be delicious.
I'm right there with Patrick Holt. I like Arby's. Everybody talks shit about Arby's, and I love it.
Literally, when I get really hungry, that's exactly how I say things. I'm so hungry, I could eat at Arby's.
Why?
Because there's just nothing about. First of all, I don't do deli sandwiches from fast food places. Sorry, I'm not getting your ham. I don't particularly like roast beef. I mean, it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
I don't jump up and down about it. Adam Black said grade D meat stands for delicious. It's got some teeth in it, but who cares? Like you know what? We're all friends here. It's got some horse eyes in it, but who gives a shit?
I like Arby's, but yes,
and
it is rather pricey.
I always get like chicken sandwiches from Arby's, and they're so damn dry. Like that, Arby's cooks chicken like it knows something about the Clintons, and they're trying to find out what that is before they kill it.
Right.
Like I think they put a heat lamp on that and just go, when it steams, we're done. Until it catches a blaze, it's not cooked right.
Burger King has always been one of my favorites. I don't like their fries all that much. But Burger King, that's one of the best fast food burgers that's out there.
So, the Burger King's underrated. Stephen Tao said one that I think we need to talk about. He said, I stop at Jack in the Box every time I drive through Hickory. Let me ask you a question. Are you sober when you're doing that? Because I've never eaten at a Jack in the Box sober, and I didn't realize that until somebody posted a meme about it. And I freaking love Jack in the Box.
But you think it's only because you're drunk every time you go?
100%.
You think it would be worse if you were sober?
It wouldn't be as good because the best Jack in the Box burger is the one that's just, it's beef and cheese and bacon and it's just slathered with all the...
You ever been to Steak and Shake?
You're not going to like what I'm getting ready to say. That is the most overrated place I've ever been to in my life.
Why?
Because the wait is damn ridiculous.
Oh, I see.
You wait in that line for
about the
11 years. Look, here's the thing. Fast food. It says it in the name. If I'm not in and out in 5 minutes, I'm pissed. That's why I love Chick-fil-A. There are going to be 400 people in the drive-thru. You'll be out in 8 minutes.
Hardee's / Carl's Jr. They got to be on the list. I've never eaten at a Carl's Jr., but
it's the same shit.
I mean, Hardee's is.
It's the same.
Hardee's has been the jam since the 80s, man.
Yeah,
I miss when Hardee's had hot dogs. Their hot dogs were great.
Patrick Holt asked, Crystal or White Castle?
Crystal. I've never eaten at a White Castle.
I've eaten at both, and I'm going to be really honest with you. I don't understand the thing.
The tiny burger thing?
I don't get it. But see, here's the thing. I'm a condiment whore. Like, if you give me a burger with no condiments on it, I will punch you directly in your ding-ding.
No, they do give you condiments on them. It's just
it's like
the mustard has snotted on your burger.
Yeah, but it's like just a wisp of...
That's it. That's all you get.
It's like just a wisp of mustard and these little alien onions that are cut into... First of all, I don't know who cuts those, but you should... more.
It's tiny
I would
people.
eat more.
It's tiny people.
I mean, and they're both fine. I don't have a problem with them. I just don't understand the up in arms about the little burger. I don't really get sliders.
The Crystal Chicks are awesome. Their chicken sandwiches, unbelievable. I'm not a big fan of the burgers.
Curtis Davis asked, Cane's versus Chick-fil-A. I'm going to level with you. That's so damn close, and nobody ever talks about Cane's because we don't have them here.
The hell is Cane's?
It's a chicken place.
Okay.
And it's absolutely so friggin' close. I cannot remember where I ate at that place. I used to travel for a living, so there's probably not a place that you're going to ask that I go, nope, never eaten there.
Right.
It's really friggin' good, and I know they have them in Alabama, but I don't know anywhere else that they are. I think they may be in Florida, and it's good. Lord have mercy. Now, don't quote me on this because I'm not 100% sure I'm thinking of the right place. I know I've been to Cane's, and I know it's very good. If I remember correctly, they only have chicken tenders. That's like their shtick, is it's all chicken tenders. And it is dumb good. But the sauce, Curtis Davis got this exactly right. Their sauce, I am convinced, is made of the tears of the innocent, the blood of unicorns, and just actual unadulterated, unfiltered fucking rainbows.
Okay.
I think they take rainbows. Every time a rainbow comes out, I think the Cane's people somehow gather it and squeeze it and just put it right on their stuff. It's ridiculous.
But what is it?
I don't even know. Curtis, please explain to him what that sauce is. It's been so long since I've eaten it that I can't describe it appropriately. Scott Coachell, by the way, said Hardy still has hot dogs. I thought
Do
that.
They?
Yeah, I thought that when you said that,
really?
but I don't really. I mean, like a hot dog is one of those things that to me, the perk of a hot dog is it's something that I can eat like 14 of. And I'm a huge fan of that. But now that we're on a weight loss program, I cannot do that. So I have to be a good boy.
There was a period where Hardee's got rid of the hot dogs. Remember that period, the thick burger, when the thick burger first came out? And they got rid of everything else off the menu but the thick burgers. And then they slowly started getting things back. So I guess the hot dogs were part of that, the hot ham and cheese or whatever, all of that started coming back. But they never wanted to go full back into chicken. Remember when they had fried chicken?
Yep.
Oh, it's good
Curtis
stuff
Davis
too.
said this exactly right. Tank, if you eat at Cane's, you might not say it's the best chicken you've ever eaten.
Yeah.
But you'll remember it when you think of chicken. That's the best way I could possibly say that.
Okay.
Because there's nothing about it that was overly memorable except that sauce. Good Lord have mercy, that sauce is good. There's nothing super memorable about it, except I do vaguely remember that they only had chicken tenders, which I thought was a little strange.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so good. Stephen Tao mentioned one super underrated when I worked for Budweiser, for the short period of time that I worked for Budweiser. One of my stops, the hotel I stayed at had a Checkers across the street. It's literally the only reason I like that town.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to say what town it is just in case we wind up affiliated with one of them. That town's a shithole, but it had a Checkers that I could throw a baseball and hit a check. Oh, my God. You get home with a bag of Checkers and you just feel like a fat shit.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
like, God, they cooked these, but they deep fried these fries in butter,
Mhm.
and they're just so
They're so good.
good. Just eat it. And,
Mhm.
I don't even think that was words.
No,
It was
it
just,
wasn't. I used to this is why I ended up on the PhD weight loss program, because I used to
100%.
go to Checkers and I would order the meal. You would get the double champ, so it was the double cheeseburger with the large fries and the large drink, but you had to order an extra large fry to eat on the way home.
Yeah.
And that's how this happened.
I love that I said I'm not going to say the city, and two separate people said, I know it.
I know it.
I bet I know what city it is. And it's oddly, sadly enough, it is not that city, but it is another city that has something they have a very similar quality.
So it's got a military base in it.
You said that, not me. I didn't say that. You said that.
Gotcha.
That's a thing you said, not me.
Yep. Anyhow. Yeah, see, I'm not. Tanks, somebody, I think it was Stephen Tao that said Tanks could go get Hardee's hot dogs now. No, I'm not. Because I'm disciplined. I'm more disciplined now. MyPhDweightLoss.com.
Adam Black said not fast food, but the madness. What the madness has going is amazing. He's
what?
exactly right. The madness. There's one over on Smoky Park, and then they just opened one that is literally like I could hit a driver and land it in the parking lot from my house. And somehow I have not eaten there yet, which is mind-boggling to me. They have sushi and they have burgers, and some of the things they do are sushi burger fusion. It sounds weird. It sounded weird to me, but sweet, good Jehovah, it is good. And that burger is ridiculous.
I've never heard of the madness before.
Curtis Davis says, you've perfectly described, he's talking about cane sauce. You've perfectly described the sauce, but to put it in layman's terms, it's ketchup, mustard, mayo, seasoning, mixed perfectly in the bowl of Zeus and prayed over by the angels that raised Jesus.
Aha. Okay.
You know what? I actually think that also is a winner. That's exactly right.
Well, it sounds wonderful.
It's, for people that have never eaten there, it's like Zach sauce with a big old kick in the butthole that just makes it has a hint of that, but then there's something
It's got like
else.
that horseradish kick to it?
No, it's not that. I don't know what it is, but it's good. Lord, it's good. Adam Black said the surf and turf roll is amazing. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And it is every bit as good as it sounds in the name. Yeah,
I see a lot of people know the madness, apparently.
Oh yeah. The one they just opened beside my house. That might be what I have to do for dinner, because now I've thought about it and that's all I want. And I've been telling him for a week, like, I'm going to eat a disgusting cheeseburger. Like, I have to. Not because they're being restricted. Like, there's nothing about this diet that's restrictive. It's just I'm one of those people that when I get something in my it's the same reason I don't listen to music a lot. Because if I get something stuck in my head, I ain't stopping until I do it.
Right.
So, I mean, I got two choices. I can torture myself for the next 2 weeks and go, no, I'm not going to eat a burger. Or I'm going to pass a Burger King and go, Whopper! And when it's too much to pass, that's too much to pass.
Right.
And I was point blank honest about that from the get-go. I have a very obsessive personality. It's the reason I'm so good at the draft.
So note to self, Jeremy's willpower is not that strong.
You ever met my wife?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, my willpower ain't that strong.
What does HWA have to do with this?
Depends on how dirty you want me to get.
Okay, stop that.
There it is.
Nobody ever asked you to not to eat those.
That's not where I was headed with it. But Patrick Holt said In-N-Out's amazing. It is amazing. Basically, any burger chain that doesn't do national shit, they're almost all good.
Yeah.
And if you travel for a living, you'll hate your life because every time you crave one of those, you'll be in one of the markets that doesn't have it. I never wanted a Whataburger in Texas, ever. I never did it, not one time. Now, I would eat it, and I would love it. But the only time I would ever want Whataburger would be like when I'm in North Carolina.
Right.
Or I'm in New York.
When you can't have it.
100%.
Yeah.
It's like
it's your
Chick-fil-A
defiant
on
side.
Sunday.
It's your defiant side.
100%.
Of I can't have it, and that's what I want.
If Chick-fil-A wasn't God's chicken, I would break in that place and fry my own damn chicken sandwich on Sundays because that's when I want it the worst.
Unbelievable.
We are 100% a food channel that talks about sports sometimes.
Sometimes.
Oh, God.
Sometimes.
Now that we talked about fast food for 20 minutes, that's all I can think about.
Now, see, you can go to just about any fast food place, and then they'll make you a salad. And that's the responsible thing.
I can make myself a salad, and I do a lot. Because I love salads.
Yes.
And on PhD, you can eat salad dressings that don't taste like particle board.
Very true.
They just can't have sugar in them. That's the big thing. If you notice everything that, because you see a lot of what I consume, because I don't put it in bottles, I tend to just drink it out of the container that nature intended me to drink it out of. None of it has sugar in it. And as somebody that doesn't like sugar, that's not overly constricted to me.
The holidays were very tough, though.
They weren't for me because I couldn't taste anything.
Well, they were tough for me because, I come from a family that has, that's what we do. We get together and just eat all of the things. And my mom makes some of the best, homemade Christmas candies on the planet. And it was hard for me to say no, but I made it through.
Classic Clay said we should call it the foodocracy. We've actually talked about doing that.
Doing a separate podcast.
Having a different logo that still has the Asheville City skyline in it, but instead of beer, it's like a burger.
Yep.
I can do that too.
Yep. I'm all about the vegetables these days, though.
I love
and
vegetables.
there's, every vegetable on the planet. I love them. So it's not that hard.
Oh, we don't have time to do this now because we're almost out of time. But without starting this argument, there is no more underrated vegetable on this planet than the radish.
Put horses on it?
Jesus Christ.
I thought you were going to say the responsible thing there and say Brussels sprouts. Because they're awesome.
They're not, but see, they're not underrated now. Because now everybody loves them because they've got them deep fried and they're like, oh, this is delicious. Yeah, but it smells like a poop. and I don't like that.
I think that might be one of the best things you've ever said. Yeah, but they smell like poop.
Stephen Townsend, Jeremy, he's still doing the celery thing. I love celery. I love damn near every vegetable. They're not about the only vegetable that I don't like. Clay said we should make the logo an eggplant. There's a reason we can't do that. It would bring about a very strange crowd that I'm not sure we're prepared for. I totally forgot what the hell I was going to say. Oh, the only vegetable I don't like is the one that you make bad for yourself when you cook it. A sweet potato. I have no interest in a sweet potato whatsoever.
Which is weird.
Because I like brown sugar, but I don't like marshmallows and I don't like any other crap.
You don't put marshmallows on it. Don't do that. That's only for the casserole.
Yeah, a lot of people do that. No.
I have never said, I've never been picky about my food. And again, why I ended up with my PhDweightloss.com.
Oh, yeah.
Tomorrow's going to be fun, though. Tomorrow's going to be fun, getting everything set, setting the stage for you right here in the Sportsocracy for all of the pivotal games of Week 18 in the NFL.
Tomorrow's, it's gonna be a fun week. It's gonna be a fun week, football. And I'll be honest with you. I've had a couple people ask me, what are you going to talk about when football goes away?
Football?
Yeah. I mean,
we'll have to talk about basketball.
You want me to break down, the eighth man for the Denver Nuggets?
I'd rather talk about bullpens in baseball.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that either.
I'm good. So, I mean, we're going to steer into more movies. We're going to steer into more food. We're still obviously going to do sports. The NFL for us is the NFL runs from probably the first week in August to the middle of May.
Yes.
And then you get the last 2 weeks in May, which I'll be on vacation because I'll be on my honeymoon.
Mm-hmm.
And then June and July. And that's really the only 2 months that we don't have the NFL to talk about.
Right.
So, Patrick Holt said, I'll get to y'all about a Foodocracy podcast. Lots of ideas. All the way in.
Nice.
Yeah, all the way in. All the way in.
I just don't have, like recipe segments. I don't have recipes. I just throw shit together hey, that worked.
Yeah, we're going to be doing some recipe stuff with Ingles. So, I don't know if you figured this out or not, but I'm the one that talks to sponsors. And then occasionally I remember to tell him what I talked about.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that.
That's a great idea.
But now the good thing is HWA is talking to all the Asheville sponsors.
Mm-hmm.
I'm dealing with all the regional and national ones. And obviously I'm going to have to confer with her, which means that you should be clued into these things much more often because she has much better memory than I do.
Mm-hmm. That's a great idea. Tailgate recipes. I always thought that would be a perfect Ingles thing.
Oh, yeah. And I have many, and they're bad for you.
All right, so we've got, all the clinching scenarios. We'll play Beat the Chief tomorrow afternoon on ESPN Asheville, 3 o'clock, and, of course, right here on the YouTube channel. We'll talk about all that as well. Asheville Police Chief David Zach has been briefed, by the way, on the zipper merge, and he will have a full account for you tomorrow.
He's telling me this is the law of the land. He didn't know what the fuck he was talking about. He said, I'll have to look into that because I've never heard of it before.
Yeah.
That's not a good sign for your argument. That the chief of police in the city didn't know what the fuck you were talking about.
He doesn't do traffic, he does crimes.
Yeah, and you know what your stupid scissor merge is? Crimes.
Not crimes.
100%.
Not crimes at all.
Stupid.
You still haven't done any actual research on it to know that I'm right.
Yeah, I said it, which means I'm right.
Stop that.
It is decided.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, see, this is what I work with each and every day. But you know that, and we all love it. We will see you right back here tomorrow afternoon at 3 o'clock. Thanks for hanging around here for us on the happy hour here in the Wicked Weed studio. WickedWeedBrewing.com. Drink different. We will see you then.
Oh, wait. Was she a great big fat person?